What is up, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme, right here each and every Saturday night on FearLess. Your sorcerer supreme. So, it's so funny. My brother said to me once, after watching Doctor Strange, it's like you watch the movie and then just made shit up. And I go, I've been talking about this 5 years before the movie was even written into existence. What are you talking about? And he was like, oh, yeah. I go, the movies actually do that for us. But it just goes to show how deep the mind control works, right? So he didn't even hear me up until he saw Doctor Strange and then got me alone to tell me that, just to go, oh, yeah. What's up, Zervos? My man. How you doing? Shout outs to Matt McDonald, by the way. My man taught me some critical information about farming. So my plants are growing. Everything's legal here in New York. Well, not everything, but growing and stuff. So I'm also in the tent, though, growing vegetables. Are we growing any fruit?
No.
Tomatoes.
No.
Tomatoes are fruits.
Potatoes.
All right. Anyway, so things are growing. It looks. What are they? Red potatoes?
Yeah.
So we put 2 red potatoes that were like sprouty. And I'm sorry, I got high eye. I got really stoned before, and we have ayahuasca being made in the other room. So everything's a little weird. And they're growing better in the tent, and we have them growing outside as well, that I've ever seen anything grow. I got my light setup fixed. I got powerful stuff going on. It looks great. Beans growing. I set up a trellis already. I didn't even know what a trellis was not too long ago. What's up, everybody? It's good to see you. Good to see your face. I've been talking about this for a minute now, but I have an accent, and I notice it now really bad. The Bronx accent comes out, if I'm not careful, quite often, especially when Paula talks. I slept. Wow, that's delicious tea, by the way. Come take this. I said I want everything growing now, not just plants. I want some flowers. I want some garlic, beans.
Some dahlia bulbs.
Dahlia bulbs we just ordered. We have a wait. Let me remember. A rose.
Well, we're hoping it comes back.
Well, hoping it comes. What is it? It's a rose.
Mini rose bush.
Excuse me. We have there's like 2 different kinds of beans, right?
Yeah.
Scallions.
And onions.
And regular onions. Mm-hmm. Potatoes. Tomatoes.
We don't have tomatoes yet.
Tomatoes not yet. Okay.
And we have cilantro. Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Come up yet. I think there was something wrong with the seeds.
Okay.
And lavender.
Oh, fuck yeah. We've been watching this. I don't even know. She's this lady and her husband. No, it's on YouTube.
Oh.
She's like.
Oh, that people from Turkey.
It's Turkey. That's what it is. And they're like, they just cook on the open fire every day, fresh. This lady cooks the meals. Her son, I don't know who the chef is, but they said he's a famous chef. But they're in like a tribe, and
it's beautiful.
They have a hobbit house.
It's beautiful.
They have multiple hobbit houses, and they have like a cow, chickens that the whole place is caged in. Has a fence around it. So everyone just hangs out. They have cats, They have the best, coolest dog ever. She's got a babushka. She she looks just like her mother. Short, stubby, short little fat hands. I never seen a woman wield an axe the way this woman
She's amazing.
has wielded an axe.
She is
You would be
an
like,
amazing human being.
no, she didn't just do that. And I'm like, yeah, she fucking
Yeah,
did,
she
man.
did.
And she's like 4 foot, right? She looks like. All right, let's just say this: if we were if we were picking teams, I would pick her
Oh yeah.
and her man first.
Oh,
Out
yeah.
of, but
Out of anyone.
don't you want the ultimate warrior and this and that? Nah, you want everybody to be.
Start a fire.
I need someone that could start a fire, that can cook. They obviously build everything with the wood around them.
They make tea basically from any berry that they can find in the woods.
They do everything that you can imagine, and they it's not like time sped up, so you're just watching it occur.
They're just flawless, seamless.
And it's outdoors, and it's all different meals they make, different teas, things from the land, and they just show you step by step. It's just her doing it. She doesn't even talk. All you hear is the outside surroundings. And I'm like, we're drawn to this. We would like watch it all day. Or it's just on constantly. And we're like, holy shit, look what she's doing now. And I'm like, we could do that. We can do some of that. Thank you. And it's really cool to think about what you can do in an area. Like, let's just say you had an acre. All right. And you squared off and fenced in half of that acre. And you made it so your animals just can't just run out. Or other animals just can't get into that area if they just, at least you have a barrier of some kind or whatever. I still might not want my cats out, but the dogs and everything would be cool. But let's just say now you have a bunch of chickens that just fucking follow you around, right? You got a little stream and a creek thing that you could go, moving water. I don't want ponds. Ponds are whack. I don't want anything that's breeding mosquitoes and all that shit. But you could go down there, right to that area. Everything's fresh. The animal, you got a cow. The fucking cow follows them wherever they go. I'm like, look how social the cow is. With the dog. What other animals do they have, Paula? She's in the background, so we're just going to call her out, ask her questions. What other stuff?
They have turkeys.
They do have turkeys. They have a rooster.
They plant all kinds of veg, and her veg looks
okay,
amazing.
So their veg looks better, and her fruits, her thin skin lemons that are amazing, look better than anything you've ever seen. They grow it right there. They use everything on the property. The guy just goes out with an axe, or she goes out with the axe. They cut the size they need. They do the firewood. They get the fire going. They get the water going, boiling. Everything gets motivated and moving, but it's wild to watch them work
together.
You would think like, okay, this guy is obviously not going to last long in this lifestyle. That's what I thought when I first saw him.
No, we're totally wrong.
Then I saw him like 40 feet up in a tree chopping wood. I go, what the fuck is he doing in the tree? And then he was just taking it down. Bang, 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 bang. I'm like, oh, he's just dressed like Grandpa Frank. He's not actually like Grandpa Frank. Like, he's obviously, if this guy grabs you, he can pull you up into the tree and take you apart. But and the woman can. So it's funny. We found them, and I was telling Paula the day before. So this is funny. See if you remember this. I told you about the Twilight Zone. I think it's the Twilight Zone. If it's not the Twilight Zone, it's the Dark Side or Tales from the Dark Side. One of them, but old. This old couple that looks just like them, like the perfect mom and pop, grandma and grandpa. They have like this cabin, and in the cabin they have a in the back or in the basement. they have like a whirlpool, right? So they get these kids to like come in. I guess the kids,
Oh, you told
the,
me.
the car gets a flat tire or some shit. They need to use the phone, and they convince them to go in the spa, and they're all hanging out, having a good time, and they're like, "We make our own wine. Do you want to try the wine?" I'm talking to Paula. She's right here too. That's why I'm looking there. Do you want some wine? They're like, "Yeah." So they're like giving the kids wine. And they're like crazy teenagers. They're going nuts, and they're gonna have sex, and they're talking all this shit. I can't believe Grandma and Grandpa are this fucking great. Like, what the fuck's going on? So the old lady starts pouring the wine in everyone's cups, overfilling it, and then it's spilling into the water. And she's like, right? So that's the face she was like. She had the babushka though. So then he's like, hey, chopping vegetables. I remember he removed this thing, and there was like all vegetables, and they were chopping them and throwing them in, and the kids were getting drunk, and you realize they spiked the fucking wine, they spiked the food, they threw all this shit in there with them, and then it ends where they're like going unconscious, and they're not laughing anymore. They were having the best time. They stop laughing, and she pulls out this giant fucking spoon, and she gets up, and she's like, this is gonna be delicious, and then it ends, and you're like, yo, what the fuck? That's what they reminded me of when I just saw them, because we just talked about this, and now look, here they go. But I don't want to live that way. I'm sorry to start the show. I'm having a good time right now. I want futuristic with the ability to do that, right? So I want what the future has for us on the optimum timeline, plus the ability to go outside with an axe and chop wood if I want to. Right? Like I want to build. I don't know. Is any of this happening to you guys? I told you about this last year or 2 years ago. I couldn't stop thinking of carpentry. I woke up one day and it clicked. Remember when we built the first table? It's like, I can't stop thinking about fucking carpentry. It's like I'm becoming space Jesus, right? Like I was bugging out. And then I was actually asking my higher self, like, yo, man, I don't know why I can't stop thinking about wood and trees and wood and cutting. And I don't understand angles, though, so that's really annoying me. But they were like, you want to learn more? So I was like, yeah, I fucking want to learn more. I wouldn't be asking. And then they had like all these carpenters that have passed that are like master carpenters. And they would just come to me and say, no, you got to space. Like I learned to put a quarter in between the wood when you're building like a deck looking piece. I'm talking on a small scale. So for like a table, just to leave the spacing perfect. If you want like perfect spacing, or if you're doing it on the wall, I didn't know what I was doing, right? It's not just watch a YouTube video, because some of the stuff I just didn't see, or if they don't explain it right, maybe I'm too stupid. And I said, no, because like I was watching the beehive thing I want to talk about, and I'm like, I still don't know. I'm watching him do it, and I still don't fucking get what he's doing. I'm like, I'm literally looking at it, so I can imagine what people go through. But except I just take the next step. But you learn these little things. But I asked the question, and then inside I got the answer inside of me. And then if I didn't get the answer and I was still bugging out because I wasn't listening, or maybe I was just in one of those moments, I literally just go, Paula, come over here. How do you do this? I think I might be one of very few men that will say to their woman, I don't know how to do this. Do you know how to do this? Show me how to do this. Or come over here and do this and show me.
I would agree.
So I can learn how to do this shit right now.
I would agree.
Right? I don't know how many men do that because you get all embarrassed and whatever. I don't get embarrassed. I'm like, Paula, if Paula showed me how to do it. I remember my father, he was like, who showed you how to do this? I don't know. I was like, no, Paula. And he was like, what? my father literally does all that shit. Yeah, he could pretty much do any of that. Everything from every level of it. Like, he loves that stuff. Like, his apartment looks fucking ridiculous.
Like, you made your girl tile the bathroom?
Oh, that was the other thing, right? The tile. I didn't know how to tile the wall when the wall tiles fell off. I was freaking the fuck out. And then I was telling a carpentry guy, I had nothing to talk to him about. He annoys me. So that I says, hey, the fucking things just fell off the wall. And he was like, oh, word? What did you do? And I'm like, well, we put up the tile and everything. Oh, you did a good job. I said, well, my girl did it. He goes, well, did you let your girl do that shit, bro? Your girl will not let you. I go, no, she put it up. It looks great. He goes, shit, it does. I go, she's probably better than you, but you've been doing it for like 50 years, right? Because you're like 78, right? And he was just like, yeah, whatever. Have a great day. But it was just funny that his face when I said that you were the one that did it was just like, how could this be possible? I'm like, you'd be surprised what goes on in my house. I have cats that talk too. One that loves to say no, by the way. Yeah. No! I'm like, how did you fucking learn that one? So I grab Reggie by the head and I'll kiss her on the side of her face. And then I always tell her I don't know what this part is called. Right here where the whiskers come out of, this part on her looks like, and some of them have it where you just want to, that's the part you want to get, right? I tease her, but I never going to do it, but I'm like, I'm going to get you there. And her nose is pink, like cotton, bubble gum. So I'm like, does that taste like bubble gum? Or does that taste like cotton candy? I don't know, right? So is that Hubba Bubba or is that Bazooka Joe? Or Bubble Yum, right? So I'll grab her and she'll look at me when she'll hear me saying it and then be like, yo, what the fuck? But instead of running from me, she just drops on the floor. She goes, right, like, no, don't. And then I'll get right here and she'll go, no. And I'm like, really? She'll try to pull away like, ah. I go, yeah, that's fucking.
And then you let go and she doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I let her go and then she goes,
she doesn't go anywhere.
I'm like, oh, she wants me to do that. Fucking weirdo. It's like a pre-teeny weirdo attitude.
Like to be chased every now and
then. The ladies like to be chased now and again. That's funny. Yeah, so we were watching beekeeping before.
Oh my god.
And how to do. Okay, so it's not as much for honey collection as having bees as friends. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But
keep them safe also.
Like, well, family you keep safe. Right? Like we live together. So how do you do that without getting stung to death and getting on it? So fucking swear to space Jesus video came up in my YouTube. I think it was because when Paul and I are on the same what is that called? On the internet. It's so you look something up and then it shows up on my stuff.
On your feed, but it does to me too.
Our IP address?
Yeah, it's the same.
So she'll look at beehives and then on YouTube how to have a beehive.
Oh yeah, I got busted. I ordered the dahlia seeds and it came up on your feed and he goes, what did you do? Why are these coming up on my feed?
What up, cuz? Cuz is here. I love you, cuz. I miss you, man. I wish you the best ever. I love you so much. So, we were looking at this guy takes bottles they're plastic food containers that are like
food grade, water bottles,
right? And he he drills a hole, he puts a little thing so they can breathe, like little breathing areas, but they can't get out. And he has like one entrance to these bottles, and he'll stack the bottles, and then have like a way out for the bees to get in and out. And they go to the top bottle, and you have to set the bottle up a certain way. Like you put what are they called? The little wooden stakes in there.
Yeah.
You put like skewers through it, and then you cut the tips so they just kind of fit in there. And you set up like a couple of them, and then you have like a cup link to the other container, and then he just connects them like a train, and then they go to the top one, the bees. So he was showing the one from inside his house. So he had this contraption where there was a hole in his wall, and then he had it sealed, and then it fed into the bottle, the bottle, the first bee container bottle, and then it went to the second, and there was a third. So they would fill up the third one. It would take them a while. He was like, it takes like a year to do this, maybe longer. So they'll fill the top one, then it'll be completely sealed and isolated. And then they naturally migrate down into the next one. So they're getting in and out from the bottom one, which is
Right.
connected to the wall of the house, or he had it to the window. He actually
Yeah.
drilled a hole in his window, and he had like a wooden thing drilled in so it could support this whole thing. But it was minimal, and he was like, "I love the sound they make, so I'm saving these bees. They're with me." He was in Russia. He's like, "They're with me through the winter. Like they make it. Most bees don't make it." So he was telling the story how it works. So we're like, "Holy shit!"
And then he insulates the bottle.
So outside of the house, he has them set up around his
High in the
property,
trees.
higher in the trees,
The bears can't
insulated.
get them.
So it's basically the same thing, but insulated. And then he just checks on them like randomly. And they just move from one spot of the bottle to the next spot of the bottle. And then you can remove the piece. Everything unscrews like pretty easily too. You've seen him do it 100 times. And then he just caps it off.
And then they live within the
And
insulation.
they live inside the container for the most part. They can get out like this one little area, but that's it. They mostly stay inside the way it's set up. And he has like an insulation wrap around it. He has like a wood piece and it's all drilled into like the side of a tree. He does everything as friendly as possible. And then he asked for comments about how he could make it better. And instantly, I said to Paula, "Oh shit," we started talking, bouncing it back and forth, just like the guy said. Two heads are better than one, one guy trying this. Now you've all seen it. Give me better ideas. Let's get better ideas. And I instantly came up with a great idea of like insulating the inside with a, like we have a screen for when the cats can't scratch through it. So if you cut that and fit that in the bottle, it doesn't interfere with anything in there. But the guy wasn't reusing anything. And he was saying, "No, I keep trying new things. So I keep working." And we're not carpenters and weirdos like that. Like I can't do what he's doing 100% because his whole life, he's probably been doing this. But I instantly saw that by putting that inside the bottle and then making like a top pop, like a capped plastic with a seal around it. When you get this one filled, they'll move to the next one. You'll unscrew this, cap it, open this. So we were thinking of how to get that out. So you would pop the big end open, right? And then grab the screen that's wrapped in there because it's like that hard plastic, and then just pull that while twisting, and it brings the whole, what is that called? The honeycombs. It just brings the whole thing out. And then we were like, "Oh, we'll just put it right in a sieve, right? Like the right size for the right size bottle." Yeah. And then with a press on it. And we were thinking at first, like, we have like a press we use for hamburgers to press the hamburgers while you're making them. Like that metal piece.
Yeah, something big, like a little bigger than that.
Yeah, you get like a bigger one and then just rest it on top and then put a little weight on there and just let it sink through, right through the funnel into the jar. Done. And because it's in the screen, right? You just pull it out, drop it in. All the crap will get stuck in the sieve, and all the honey will just go through.
And with the comb outside.
Right, and then you actually don't use the whole thing. What you do is you got to take a slice of that whole piece and like put it on a skewer. Put all the skewers back in the bottle, and then put that one in the bottle so they don't go into shock. And there you go. Frank's already talking about beekeeping inside his house.
Possibility.
Inside the house is a possibility. But you never, ever, ever touch them. Right. There'll be no contact with them. So it's almost like an aquarium you build for them inside or in a structure. And then at the top of the structure, you put like smaller bottles, and then they fill them.
I think it's amazing.
Right? Like we just I said, look, we could put a like a wood border around it, make it nice. Really you rest your fucking drinks on it while the bees are doing their thing, because that's not the one you're going to take from. You build like a table structure with it, and then the containers they're filling will be back a few inches, like a foot and a half. So when you want them, you can unscrew them from there, but they're also not going to get in the way if you just sit right here with them. I could write a letter. I could do a show, and the bees are right here.
It's awesome.
Right now, the winter's coming. Oh, look, they're inside with me. I don't know. You think I'm nuts? I don't know. I think it's great. I had an experience with the bee that was out of control. It was gigantic. It was like a big bee. How big? Where's my other hand? Like that big, fat bumblebee, and it was like talking to me, but it was like a bee being. It was advanced, totally advanced. The way I was telling Paul, it was like a dolphin, but more. If the dolphin was talking to you with telepathy, but it was also talking to me out of the thing on its mouth. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was wondering why they didn't have a mouth that opened like blah. They don't have that.
Oh, we still have Peacemaker.
It's like a right, and then a little lickety lick lick lick. So I didn't know what that was. I thought that was the stinger. So I was like, you're not gonna get me with that. And they were like, what?
No.
When I rubbed it, it was soft, and then the tongue came out. So it was like lips, and then at the end, it was like, and I go, oh, that's how you get your you get your pollen, little bee, or whatever. So then I apologized for thinking it was going to hurt me. It was hiding its stinger, so it wouldn't scare me. It was like pulling it back, like, here's my stinger. I don't want to scare you. Like, we're hanging out. Like, I wouldn't try to stay. I was like, dude, that thing is massive. Like, he's like, yeah, but I'm not going to use that. Like, I'll die if I hit you with that. Like, I die too. I'm like, damn, you do? That sucks. He's like, it's a one shot, one kill, but I'm alive, bro. Like, you're not trying to kill me, right? I'm like, I love you. Can I get a hug? And then I told Paul, I was like, it had fur, right? But it was yellow, and it was bumblebee, but its eyes at that size, you can see the fractals in the eyes. And I was like, oh, it looks like the infinite honeycomb that you build. You could see me from everything. And they were like, oh yeah, we can see more than just what you think we can see, like the way you see. We don't see just that. We see the spectrum, because they're using antenna and sound from the wings. I asked for a hug, and I got and then a kiss from the thing. It was so soft. I go, oh man, I've been wrong about bees. Because I asked Paul once again, what the fuck is up with the bees in upstate New York that just attack you wherever you go? We went apple picking, and they were all aggressive. Everyone was aggressive. I'm like, you can't get away from them, and they're everywhere. And I got stung 3 times in 2 seconds. As soon as I sat down, I didn't even do nothing. I just sat there, bang, bang. I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to fucking kill everyone here. Like, we were sitting there talking about flamethrowers. I was like, they're only $500. And you were like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm like, yeah, because this is some bullshit just to find out that bees were genetically modified and released.
Oh, you can tell that they're angry bees. They eat cat food. It's not normal for an insect to eat cat food.
Angry, genetically modified bees will eat your cat food.
It's scary.
And they'll aggressive. I know the exact ones you're talking about. They look angry. It's not they just act aggressive. They look aggressive. Like when you see a hornet up close, it doesn't look friendly ever. It always looks like it's agitated and wants to just fucking kill you. And I'm like, how does a bug have that? An insect has that quality. Like I don't want to use this guy's name, but Cole growing up, he had that quality about him, right? He'd show up, he'd go, wow, what the fuck? He was always, Cole, what are we doing? You want to know what we're doing right now? Yo, let me fucking tell you right now. It's like, dude, I just came out. I just ate. I can't run right now. I had pizza. What is wrong? I'm telling you right now. Like that intensity where you're like, fuck, I've had enough of that shit. I ask Aya all the time, what are we doing with mosquitoes? What are we doing with them? So you say you can't murder nothing. What are we doing with these angry bees? I think it's sound that does it. It's a different frequency that affects bees. But those bees that are working with
people too.
No, listen.
Upstairs always gets bitten.
Yeah. So it's a frequency shift. So it throws off those that are, I don't know, not doing anything for the betterment of the frequency, like to be in that frequency, I think things start to work together more. Yeah. So you don't get certain kind of animals at all, or beings of some kind, right? You wouldn't get mosquitoes if this frequency shifts and they run a certain way. It might push them into areas. Or you have technology where it actually goes off, and then that technology will make the frequency change in the area, not allowing them into that area, like a force field that maybe generates through your Wi-Fi, even, right? Broadcasts around everyone's homes. If if everyone had one of those, though, you would push them all back into other areas without killing them. Rah.
Do you know we're matching? And I got dressed before you.
Wait a second. No.
I swear to God, look.
Why are you dressed like me?
Look, it's gray and beige.
Well, this is actually black, but it looks kind of grayish, right? We're dressed like each other.
So funny.
Get in the other room. Why? Where are you going?
I'm fine.
I wish you knew how to roll a joint.
Oh, use the bowl. Use the bowl.
No, for you, not for me.
No, for you.
I don't want to smoke that on camera. It'll look like I'm smoking crack. Just kidding, it's a bong. I just don't want to do bong hits on it. That would be funny, but not really. Okay, so
it's a baby.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that on there. Thank you, though. I have my pipe here. That's cool. I look more like Gandalf of some kind.
Oh, your beard looks very sexy.
Gandalf the red shirt. Gandalf the maroon. That's more on. I was showing Paula History of the World before. Mel Brooks, and I was telling her, I was like, yo, did you ever see this? She was like, I don't remember it. And it's like all these famous guys from back in the day being so out of line that it's so crazy that I was laughing the whole time. I loved it because everyone knows what they're doing. You know, they all got together to do that, so they could obviously find the humor in it. But it was so, Dom DeLuise comes down as Julius Caesar, and he's all fat, and they're going, Hail Caesar, Hail Caesar, Hail Caesar, and he just scratches his balls straight, and then he sits down, and something goes up his ass, and he pulls it out, and he goes, watch this. Forget about the race jokes are out of control, and on any and all level. I'm surprised that didn't get canceled. I'm glad it didn't. You could see it on YouTube. How's that? You can see the uncut, unedited shit. I have to maintain hard humor in all of this, like the hard humor. I gotta laugh at the craziest things because it's always non-fucking stop. Infinite experiences plays out in ways you could never imagine. You might guess a few things, but it doesn't ever play out the way you see it. I should say that differently, the way you think that it would turn out. It's just always, I always say this to them, it's always more fantastical. Okay, so Nick, I do not feel the same way about spiders as I do about bees. However, I had an eye experience where I was with these green tarantula-looking spiders. They were green with like black stripes. They were smart, and they were like way better than a dog. Like they could understand, but they couldn't have the intelligent full conversation. So if that makes sense, but they were down and they would hang out and you could pet them and play with them. They would giggle. They giggled. They laid on their back and did this weird fucking thing, just like Buddy the cat. My cat Buddy he was the first cat to do this. As soon as he would see me, he would throw himself on. He'd run up to me and throw himself on the floor and just throw on his back and look like a fat little sausage. So excited to see me. And these spiders were doing that. and they were not scary in any way, shape, or form. And I pet this one. It didn't scare me. I walked right up to it. It was pretty big. Uh, Maybe about that big, maybe a little bigger, fat, and then their arms. So they look pretty big. It was like green fur. Um, it was really nice, and they weren't dirty. You would think like, oh, these animals are dirty. It wasn't like that at all. It was like they were super clean. I found myself wanting to keep like I was petting it everywhere. I was like, let me see your fucking. I have this weird thing with animals. I'm like, let me see inside. Let me see your face. I was going, let me see your face, and I grab their face and I look into their mouth, in their nose. Like I did this with Winnie, the pit bull. This pit bull was so big that when I was doing this, Aya said to me once during an experience, she goes, you know, you're never going to get eaten by a shark. You realize that that's like not in your contract, and you're never going to be in that position ever. Promise you. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever. It sucks still. I feel like you stuck your head, your face in Winnie's mouth yesterday. Your whole face. You realize that dog could take your fucking head right off your body. And I was like, no way. No way Winnie would ever do that to me. Why else would you let me hold your mouth open? I go, yeah, like there was this weird thing. I used to sleep on her, and she's fucking gigantic, man. So I thought about that for a second. I was like, oh wow, she's like the pit bull that can do that. Like she can kill coyotes and fucking, I don't know. You know what I mean? So we're coming online with the animals come first. Remember we talked about this. Let's say first set of episodes ever. How when the switch happens, the animals they start bonding to you. I went from when I started the show, there was no cat. There was Oscar and Roxy that I knew them, but they weren't in the first couple of episodes, and none of those talked about. And then because the show was a year ahead, so when I caught up to their parts in the story, which were recent to me at that point, the animals all jumped in and were helping me. They were like talking to me. They were worried. I got attacked by I want to just say it's a demon for lack of a better terms, and Paula's old house. There was something in the house that was dark, man. And I went in there, and she was like, it's downstairs. I'm not going down there, like not going by myself. So I'm like, but he's fucking kidding me. So I didn't feel it. I knew something was there, but I was feeling. All right, so we were drinking ayahuasca in the house, so we had been blasting off in there. I'm like, yo, there's this old guy that's in the closet or something in your friend's room. She had a friend that she lived with. I said he's like shivering and hiding in the bedroom, like. So I went in there and I was like, hey, what are you doing? You need to stop fucking around. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like I went through this whole thing, and he was like, yeah, it's not me. So I'm like, what do you mean it's not you? So I told Paul, it's not him. He's fucking, this homie won't do nothing. He's like a regular person. It's just like an old man, like just hanging out like in the house, but he's fucking frightened. So she goes, I'll go downstairs and get some stuff. So I'm like, I'll go down and get it, whatever. So I just went downstairs, and I hear, first I feel something on me, like on my neck. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I started to feel that, oh no, what the fuck? And I hear, oh, I got you. Just me and you now. I was like, what? And I turned around, and there was a giant, it looked like a smoke turned into a wolf that was huge. The wolf was as high as my neck, like the back on it. I've never seen a wolf that close, and it was breathing on me, and I didn't panic. What do they call that? I didn't faint, but I couldn't talk at all. That fucked me up so bad. I'm thinking about it right now. It's fucking me up. So I was going like, and then I fell to the floor, and I put my hand up to I was like, yo, it's gonna eat my hand. It's obvious I'm dead. I've gone through this scary shit a few times where I'm like, I guess that's it. And it was breathing on me and had yellow eyes, and it went like, vroom, vroom. And I said, wow, this can't be real, man. What the fuck? And Oscar came running downstairs and started like, he was hissing and running around my head back and forth because I was like on the floor, like, don't kill me. And it's like looking at Oscar, and then Roxy came downstairs, and then they were going opposite of each other. They didn't know what to do, so they wouldn't go near the wolf, but there was like a line they just wouldn't cross, and they were doing this thing back and fast, boom, 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 hissing, looking at it. So I was like, holy shit. I was working in that house with Paul hardcore. The animals started showing up. I remember seeing the first thing I saw was a frog, right? And I was like, what the fuck is a frog gonna do? I saw a lizard. The lizard ran back and forth like really quick, and then the attention of the wolf was not on me. It was on this thing, like as if it was watching the mouse run across the room, like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? Oscar and Roxy going like this. And the frog came in, and I said, when I was like, what the fuck is the frog gonna do? I said that out loud, like, what the fuck is this thing gonna do? And then I heard like the ribbit, and then it looked like a wave of them jumping into the fucking room. And I went, holy shit. And I heard strength in numbers. Boom, came in the room. Wolf backed right off of me. Looked like it was freaking the fuck out, like they were everywhere. Not on me, though. I just sat up like, oh, you're fucked. And one at a time, it was like everyone was chipping into the experience. I learned to work with them that way. It opened my heart to a lot of things. Unfortunately, I'm still like wackadoodle with spiders. I don't know, man. Spiders and snakes. I don't fucking trust you guys. Not yet. I don't trust snake men. This Conan is alive and well for a reason. Right? Like his whole purpose is and he's like Hercules, part god, lowercase g, from an Anunnaki father. His bloodline, I should say. So it's not his father. Maybe it's up the line further. So Crom is their god. Crom is like a 20-foot guy that's dead, and Conan uses his sword to show you how big Conan is. Just throwing it out there. It's so relevant why people like Frank Frazetta and all this. What is he doing? He's got girls that are naked usually or wearing scampy shit. He's got a sword and he's decapitating snake men. 90% of the time. Look it up. Facts. Truth. Anyway, so you start working with the animals and your abilities just start opening up to other things. Right? Like Space Jesus didn't show up until I was holding my cat like a baby. But he loved to be held like a baby. He used to wiggle and wiggle closer to me on his back. He never touched my face, like hit my face. He would just touch it. And he smelled really bad sometimes. He was a stinker. But he wanted to cuddle into you. And I would pick him up and hold him. And I would say, you're my little baby, baby. I would just sing songs to him. I don't know. And we were outside, and the light was just coming through. Everything was perfect. It was early in the afternoon. It was like late morning. And the sound of the birds changed to a song that the birds were singing. It sounded like the birds were fucking singing. Like there was a different rhythm to what the birds were. It was like they were all doing it. So I looked up and I said, wow, that's great. Well, I was making funny jokes because they were right there on the tree. We have a tree. We feed all the birds. And I just looked over, and there was a guy standing at my gate. The gate's like 10 feet away. Anybody that's been in my house knows exactly what I'm talking about. I just looked over from the little green grass to the gate, and I saw Space Jesus standing there. And I was like, hey, can I help you, buddy? And then I looked at him, and I said, holy shit. And I said, yo, man. He was wearing a robe. I walked right up to him. I said, yo, that's a really good looking white. Like that's the white I'm looking for, homie. Like, does that stain? And I like touched it. He's like, nah, it doesn't stain. He goes, you're going to let me in? We'll talk. So I was obviously already knew it was him. And I couldn't believe it. It wasn't exactly what I thought he looked like, but when I saw him, I knew that's exactly what he looked like. That doesn't make any sense. I felt in my heart that was him 150,000%. And I was like, yeah, like everything made sense. And then he's like, man, you gotta do me a favor. You gotta talk to me about this right now. We're gonna talk right now about this. I was like, what's that? He's like, you could just let go of everything you've fucking ever thought about me, heard about me, read about me, all of it, let it all go. And I'm like, you're gonna tell me this shit is fucking fake or something, right? And I looked in the background. So we have like really nice trees in the front of the house, but there's like a the sidewalk goes up a quarter of the block, like 50 to 100 feet, and then you cross the street on the long angle, and it's the subway. You like go to the subway station, and then you go downstairs, and you can see that all except the station. You can see up to the corner and like the whole grassy part, and then up the block you can see the school from my yard. But the immediate through the gate, there's like a big double street. Anyone that's been on my street knows it's pretty wide to the other side, and then there's like a block here and a block right there. You could just see all this shit. And I saw dudes walking around that looked like him. They looked just like him, not him, dressed like him. Yeah. All different kinds. And then there wasn't a lot of them, and I noticed them because they were wearing white. And I saw other dudes wearing Star Trek gear, and I said, what the fuck is going on? Like, I immediately called them out. I said, whoa, what are these guys doing? I saw them like, I was like, is that your security or some shit? And then I looked up, and he's like, look right there. I go, you want to ship with these guys? He's like, well, Star Trek is based on us. And I'm like, what? He's like, Star Trek's literally based on what we are. Reality. Look, the ship's right there. Boom. Right over the fucking roof of the house on the angle, right across the street. Technically, the people at the subway should have just looked up and saw this. They could see it perfectly. But my angle through the trees, the ship was sitting right there. And I go, you guys are on a spaceship. He goes, starship. I'm like, what? He goes, it's a starship, not a spaceship. I'm like, I'm having an argument with Space Jesus over the name of the craft he just came out of. What are you fucking...
Awesome.
This is crazy. The craziest thing to me was the white that didn't stain. I kept looking at it going, I want that robe. I seen the other guys with it, and I knew that it was it was an acceptable thing to say, because apparently somebody makes these fucking robes and I want them. But he was like, you're like obsessed with the white that doesn't stain. I'm like, I'm getting sick of fucking going through Hanes t-shirts. I go, as a shaman, I love to wear white. I love it. I don't know what the fuck happened to me, man. I used to wear black all the time and dark colors, and now I wear tie-dyed shirts sometimes, and it's just different, man. It's just fucking different. I used to like to wear underwear. I know this is so weird. I used to like to wear underwear all the time. Like, oh, this is I wear the fattest underwear ever. They grip perfectly and they fit perfectly and blah, blah, blah. I don't like wearing... maybe that's too much info. But it's like I changed the whole thing, the whole style, and I see where it's headed. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to be wearing the white robe, aren't I? Okay, so the other guys I saw looked like humans. They didn't glow like him. He glowed a little bit. He wasn't glowing. So check it out. See me right now. Right? See how it's like glowing behind me? He had that, but it was also perfect daylight, no clouds in the sky. Perfect. So the sun was coming this way, and he was standing with me this way, but that shine was still there. So kudos to fucking Space Jesus lighting up the fucking sky in the middle of the day, right? So he's like, everything you've heard about me is wrong. Everything. It's all Wrong. It's like another guy they're talking about. Except. So I'm like, oh, what? I don't like. I don't want to get into this. He's like, no. I unlocked the avatar. That's what I did. Right? But some of the other sequences in my life is a different guy that they just like inserted into telling stories about me. That's not my birthday. That's not the day I died. That's not the day I rose. That's not the day I did this. However, I did do a whole bunch of things. He's like, I also was gone for 30 years. Nobody ever talks about that, right? Why don't anyone ask me where I was for 30 years? I'm like, well, where were you for 30 years? He's like, I was in Egypt. I was literally with yogis in India. Like, he was explaining, like, he went to the different masters and was drinking ayahuasca, soma, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, man, I unlocked and came back. So there's a whole bunch of them over there, but nobody was over there. It was like the masters were over there. But you're hearing like the war, the Spartacus story attached to like the story. So it's always like this war with this one and then the thing with this one. And then it's always fucking drama. It's never enlightenment. Go inside. He's like, I literally said, you can do what I can do. You can do it. You can just do it. You can do it. Do it. Don't follow me. Do it. Use me as the example, the living example, the fucking living parable. That's why the parables make sense, because it's like anywhere between 65 and 80% truth, and then the rest is a total lie. So you're the son, creator of source, capital God, but you're also, so if God birthed you, your soul, and said, you are me, but you, that's who you are. Well, most of you. Right? So that makes you baby source. All right. So right now, you're like, wow, it's a lot on my plate. Yo, you start believing that with no hubris attached to it, but with complete confidence, your world changes. The reason why it's always a king or a queen, you are a great king or you're a great queen, is because you are the great king and the great queen. You are. It's you. It's always been you. It's never been anyone else, but it's everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like in your world, you're always looking for it externally. Like, if I drink this, it's going to turn me into the superhero. And that's not the truth. Everything's a tool to get you in place to just be that. So when you drink ayahuasca, she's like, you're going to just become me. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm going to become you? She's like, you're not going to need to drink me. You're going to literally walk right alongside of me and be your own version, but everything I am and more. Like, you just be more. Like, I'm this. You're going to be the exact same thing, independent and original, doing your own thing. I'm like, well, that's pretty amazing. You're a planet, and then she's more than a planet. When you really take a look at her, it's like she's the world tree. She's not, like, Earth isn't standing by itself. Earth is attached to a bigger place. It's bigger. It's not flat. It is bigger. Much bigger. And then there's realms within the frequencies. So she's there for all of them. Plus there's the inner Earth. Plus there's everything else that she reaches out like a tentacle and attaches to you spiritually. Everything that's born here is through her. You don't get here onto this planet. I don't know if that's true. You don't get here onto this planet unless you're born through her. But as a human, through the experience on this planet, you be born through her on the planet. It's different than being born on the ship. I'll tell you that. Being born on the ship, you're born with your natural connection there to the. You guys got to explain this to me. To their collective consciousness, to whatever group they're attached to, flying out in space, entering another dimension, whatever. But when you're born on the planet, there's like a resonance. Oh, the living library produces the purest fruit. Bingo. So that's why they try to poison everything, and that's why in the end none of this is going to work, because there's other beings that aren't going to allow that, but we have to wake up on a different level. I feel like I'm channeling this right now. So you're going to be fed all of the fucked up information until you wake up. We wake up as a collective group, or until the scales are tipped at such a point where we're like, we're not gonna take. I hear the song, "We're not gonna take it." They're playing that in my head, like really fucking loud. Lower that, please. And until then, it's just gonna keep going. Period. So it's gonna keep reaching a new height. Do you know my mother shared a Disney post? Any that of you that know her? Her name's Diane. She posted like a Disney article about like the evil shit about Disney. My mother was going to Disney this year with my niece and nephew and my brother and his wife, regardless, no matter what. And now all that shit's on hold. Now, synchronistically speaking, it didn't start that way. Everything was going good, and then it got pushed back, and it got pushed back again. And then it was supposed to go, and then to all this shit talking, and it never went down. It never got set up, but it will, but we might, and we don't know. Blah, blah, blah. And now it's gone from, please, Frank, give me a fucking break, to the other end of things, like, holy shit, there's kids underground. So achieving Space Jesus like stuff, he's on a ship. You know, I'm telling you right now, that was Galactic Federation that he was with. He wrote, that is offshoots of, yeah. All right, so okay, so there's subdivisions of stuff like the Galactic Federation that are just people doing their thing. But as you can, okay, so it's just mixed people that coalesce together with similar ideas, agendas. You mean agendas, good for the betterment of that. Just fucking help out in all different ways. When you're ready to see them, you'll just see them. They're right there. The ships are cloaked in the sky. They're right there. There's no going over there. It's all going to be right here. And we're constantly looking for like Jesus to come back. I learned some fucked up shit in the last couple of days. So they actually used technology, right? Where you can send people through space-time. You bend it right to you. So it's right there in front of you. So you can visually watch it or step through it. And they were using children to step through it. It had a different effect on the children. It had long-lasting fucked up effects on the adults for some strange reason. Maybe it was just blowing their fucking mind. But they got samples of Space Jesus. So he was explaining this on a scale that's, there's the reason why I'm talking about him again. He keeps coming back into the loop. I think it's this Easter cycle stuff. So to present to you and I, Space Jesus, a clone grown of him. So they've been doing this. Oh boy. So they have multiple versions. That makes sense. Just like they have Joe Biden clones and lookalikes. They have Space Jesus ones as well. That's crazy. To present to us almost like a last card, like the Christ has returned, but it would just be a person that's not unlocked. You have to do the work to get unlocked. You can't just clone and be unlocked. Okay, so that's how this universal. Yeah. Okay, so they're like, if you cloned a Jedi here, like if Frank unlocks and can fly, if we clone Frank, that Frank can't fly. He would have to like learn the routine, even though he would kind of know it. He'd have no physical attribute relationship to it. Nothing. Yeah, he would have to process that and go through it. He'd have to learn how to do it. All right. That's crazy. That's crazy. That makes total sense, though. We've talked about dreaming, and then like you're in the clone, and your dream feels real, and you're going through an experience of some kind, and you realize this is real. This isn't fake. And then at some point, you're either wake up, shake, and you're like, oh my god, whoa. The clone is a fractal of you. It's like a carbon copy. And if you make copies from copies and copies, it degrades over time. They're not really supposed to be doing that. Yo, I watched the thing. This was so fucked up. Um, it's all hearsay as far as I'm concerned. I didn't look into this much, but I watched this thing. It was pretty cool. There's a little clip on the story of the Serpico exchange, which was basically the story of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The ending was the beginning of this story. So the end, they send people with the ETs. So in the project Serpo, they sent, I think it was 16 people. It was like the Matrix when they said, "Oh, send this many women, this many men, whatever." So they do that switcheroo. A couple of them stay here, and a couple of humans go to their planet. It's a 10-year program. The first thing that happens when the captain wakes up, he's like, notices there's people missing. So he's like, "Yo, where are these people?" And they're like, "Oh, they're dead. They're gone." They don't even say they're dead. They're no longer here, right? So he's like, "All right," thinking they put them somewhere on ice, and then at some point they're gonna have like a burial, or they're gonna do something or whatever. He finds out through asking like 5, 6 times, like, "Yo, I need to see the bodies." They were calling them by numbers. "I need to see 3, 2, 1 by the. I need to see the fucking body." And they're like, "That guy no longer exists." So he's like, "Yo, what are you talking about? You gotta show me the body, bro." So he's like, "Well, we used him for genetic material, and it created something else, another being. So you can come see the other being." So they brought him into. He said they were scientific, very scientific. They brought him into, and his crew. I guess he was a captain. He had a few people in charge with him. So they went there. They looked, and it was some. He explained it like it was a horror show, not like a horror nightmare area where genetic experiments were being. I talked about these tubes they put the women in. Paul, we talked about the episode with Paula where she's put in the tube, and you could see her face, and they fill the tube up, and it's got like amniotic fluid, and it looks like she's gonna die and drown, and then starts breathing it, and then she's like, right, and then they start doing stuff from under the tube. You're trapped in there in a certain way, so they can insert, take things in, take things out, do whatever the fuck they need to do. Scientifically speaking, they had tubes like this everywhere with things growing in it. So they were mixing and matching, trying to see what they create. So the guy asked him, "So what is this?" And he's like, "Oh, we're never letting him out. That's what he turned into when we mixed it with this other genetic material that we had." And they were like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, we just mix it together, scientifically speaking, to see what we get. So we just mix all these different things together to see what happens." And he was like, it was really cold and scientific, but there was no what he described as evil intent behind it, but what he saw was totally evil in nature to him. He was like, it was scientifically brutal. So could you imagine waking up out of it? You're like, you're going with the ETs, and they put you in a little stasis, and then you wake up and one of your people's just missing, and they're making those genetic things, and they're just in tubes and tanks. Okay, but what I got out of the whole thing from when I asked, I was like, "Yo, why are they doing that outside of just like scientific research? Is there a better reason?" And they're like, "Well, not all the beings you encounter, even though they may be good or cool or something, right? They have agendas, right? So a lot of them are soulless. they die, they're gone. There's nothing running them. And I'm like, so it's AI. And he's like, no, it's alive until it's dead. And then it's dead. So this is why I'm like, we're in a fucking game. Okay, so there's background characters and players in the game and on levels. Even in video games, if you watch Free Guy, the people and the guy that wakes up is the guy in the game that's not supposed to wake up. He's just a background character. He's like, he doesn't know that he's an NPC. He's just doing what he's programmed to do. And I'm like, so the guy in the movie, I was, well, you're soulless. How could you be alive? He's like, well, I don't know about that, bro. And he's like, what do you mean? How could you not be soulless? You're written into the game. He's like, even if I had no soul, this moment means to me. So I am alive. I am real. Because I am. I'm fucking telling you, I'm real. I'm like, that's enough. You are too. You just don't know. They didn't wake up. Where else have we seen this? Movie Tron. We talked about this. In Tron 2, you find out Jeff Bridges is stuck in the game. He was down there and he made a clone of himself, an AI. And he said, we're going to build this place and make it perfect. And then the AI said, okay, then you have to die. Right? So it went to kill him. And then he got away and it was hunting him. And it started like putting everything in this evil order, the way you would expect a computer to work. I click fucking delete. You sure you want to delete? Yes, bang, done. Space, 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 space. Hello, my name is Frank. Right when you're typing, like he wants it regimented. And then the other guy, Jeff Bridges, built the place and is like, nah, man. He's like a hippie. He's like, you don't have to do that, man. He had everyone like living. And now inside the game, it was like weird. So then a portal opened in the middle of this craziness. And through the violet portal flame, these beings just walk out that look like human beings, like that are in the game. Like they look like they do in Tron. So they come out, but they're like different. So they bleed and stuff. They can bleed, which was weird. They found that to be awkward. So the AI orders all of them to be killed. So you find out that his girl, Jeff Bridges, the girl that's with him, is the last remaining one. And you go through this whole experience where she gets her arm chopped off and then it grows back, but she has blood and they're in the game. And then he bleeds at one point and then the blood turns into computer graphics. And it's like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? And then he pulls her out at the very end. And she's like, yeah, no, we were a new creation by Source because you built the area. You instilled the balance. And then the sky, like for them, it was just like the door opened and we walked out. We were like written into the game automatically, but written into the fucking game nonetheless. So at what point do those guys become human and they're written into the game and the free guy wakes up, but he's written into the game, but he's kissing the girl and he's real. He's obviously having every fucking emotion and everything. What is this that happens? Well, just like the ET that's soulless and the NPC, to trying to get a soul, your essence, in their bloodline DNA. So what they're doing is trying to mix and match to see if they can get a soul person, a person with a soul, a thing with a soul, that can be the next generation of them. So they love human beings. Oh, do they love us? This being said, I've told them this because I realized that I have worked with these same beings. And I've said to them every time, no. However, they take and they create other beings. Now, I'm not going to call those other beings soulless, but it's not enough for what they're looking for sure. And looking into this, I said to them, first of all, Has anyone asked for our help and said, can you please help us with this? Because, if we give it freely, it might work. The same thing given under free will, given to you through love, will be different than you extracting it from me in a fucking tube through fear. And they're like, I don't know about that. I'm like, you should try it. But they don't understand that. And you're like, what do you mean they don't understand? They don't have common sense. Their intelligence level doesn't work like you would think. They're fucking really smart, but you can trick them. You could literally trick them. If you can shield your mind from these guys, you can trick them with the stupidest shit. Just like the demons, you can trick them so easily. You know why we know rabbit season, duck season is funny? Rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, duck season, rabbit season. Ha bang. You know why that works? Because it works on the other side. That's why we laugh at it when we see it. We're like, yo, that shit works, man. Yeah. And I've tried it in real life when I was younger on people using other, not duck season, rabbit season, argument stuff where it's just going back and forth, and it worked. And I'm like, it doesn't work all the time. So I chose to use it. Demons claim to be omnipotent gods of whatever. Bullshit. You're lying. So you sing happy birthday to them and you just keep singing. And you guys know the joke. I just keep singing and they're like, what is this you're doing? And I'm like, it's your birthday. They don't even know what you're talking about. They're like, wait, it's not my birthday. Wasn't there a day that you were created? And they tell you we were brought into the program, written in, and you're like, they know they're written in. They're written in, and that's why they fuck with you the way they do. But then they're alive, though. They're not, they're souls, but they're like written code souls. They get fed up doing the same shit all the time. They don't want to be in pain and whatever. So when I gave mine the choice, hey, you could ascend or you could get dropped right here. Choice is yours. And it was like, you're giving me the choice to come with? And I'm like, you fucking with me right now? Because I'll sing happy birthday again and we'll go right cake to your fucking face. He's like, no, wait. You're telling me if I help you right now, I can come with you there without getting transmuted. I'm like, nah, you got to do the work. So you make the choice, just like I made the choice. Just like in the movie Free Guy, he makes the choice. He's like, no, I'm alive, man. I choose to do this. I'm choosing to not go to fucking work. Give me these glasses. Give me the girl. What do I got to do? Give me the bike. Give me the sneakers. I'm going to run around this place. I'm going to help people. He does all this crazy shit. And you're just like, whoa. You make the choice, then you do the work. It works. That's it. So they're like, well, we don't have free will. I'm like, you're my demon, right? You're mine. You're like assigned to me. Yeah, no, I'm your fractal. I'm literally you in demonic form, written in. I'm like, you don't like me, right? Oh, I fucking hate you. I want you to suffer, all this other shit. I'm like, okay, cool. So you punch into work every day. Every day you punch in, bang, I'm gonna fucking punch you in your face, right? Every day. And then you punch out, I guess, when I'm sleeping, and you're like, all right, see you tomorrow, George. And we punch in again in the morning, we just go at it, right? He's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, so you want to see me suffering in pain, but that thing will remove everyone from the game. So you don't get to punch into work tomorrow because I won't exist. So my non-existence doesn't make me suffer. It removes me from the game. Permanente, and that's not what you want, because then there's nothing for you. You go too. You're attached to me, so you're gone. He was like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, oh, so smart, so stupid. Make the choice. He's like, I'll help right now. When he knew that we were being removed permanent, he saw it. I keep calling him. It looked like me. Just like dark spirit, and he made the choice and turned bright white, like Casper fucking White. Same guy, Casper White, acting in my favor with me. So was my Jinn. My Jinn did the same thing. He changed. This thing told me it hated me from the first day it met me. I was like, you're so awesome. It was like a fire gen. And I said, you're amazing. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Oh my God, you're beautiful. And he was like, oh, fucking, I want to watch you burn in hell. Like, I fucking hate you. I was like, why do you hate me? And he's like, I hate you. He was like burning up in front of me. And I couldn't, he couldn't do anything to me, but I couldn't escape him. I tried all these etheric things. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. And then I feel like I outran him and he got bored, maybe. I don't know. But then the next time I saw him, I was under Aya and I confronted him. And I realized he was a jinn. I didn't really know what was going on at first. When I first started in this, I was just meeting beings and didn't know. I was like, you look like the fucking Human Torch. You're amazing. He was like, get away from me. I was like, yo, there's nowhere for me to go. Obviously, this is me. I didn't know that was me. Right? You're confronting yours. The fractal of you that is that character wherever he is and wherever he inhabits or she inhabits. I didn't know any of that shit. So giving them the choice transformed them just like the dragon. The dragon went from dark evil, very scary, to completely white with blue eyes, white long hair, white scales, spits violet flame. I was like, and all the dragons that came with that were just there, a lot of them came, but a whole bunch were like, nah, you're traitors. You're all traitors. And I was like, well, there's nothing you can do because you can't come here. Like, where we're going, you can't come unless you do this. And they're like, well, I don't give a fuck. Like, you get out of here. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm out. But I'm taking everyone that wants to come with me. Let's go. And they were like, oh, we could do that? I was like, yes, you can. As soon as they make the choice, boom, they changed. I was like, wow. So it's like that information is worth its weight infinitely. You're like saving souls, creating the spark by the choice to allow it to grow into something and evolve into something new. That's a big fucking deal. I tell Paul all the time, I have so much spiritual equity, it makes me sick. Like, if I never did another thing again, just like her, we never did anything ever again, everything will still work out fine. I'm like, we just rescue. Like, it's nonstop. It's not war. It's just the cabal is at war with the people. I'm in observation mode. If you bring war to my front door, naturally I got to swing a hatchet, but that's obviously not occurring. Right? Like, I'm not in the mix of things like that. I'm in the spiritual mix. That's the only difference. We get the heads up. We get to see it coming. We get to stay ahead of the wave. You know? Do not throw up on that chair. You okay? Come over here. Don't get scared of me. I'll jump on you and bite your cute face. Yeah. So building towards that spiritual equity, right? When you're like, no more war. Like, I'm just not with it. Like, I choose life. I choose to be a little more compassionate with even demonic entities. That's how you practice. You wipe the floor with your demons, and then you act nice to, I don't know, you forgive your enemy. I forgive the guy that stabbed me. I saw him under like an experience, and I saw all the terrible things that happened between when he stabbed me and then where he was sitting. And I felt terrible for him. He lost his brother. He lost a whole bunch of other things. A whole bunch of other friends died. His brother died in jail. And that's the kid that grew up with me. It's just so weird, the way things work out. I felt terrible. I said, oh, send you love. Sorry that occurred. I guess it's an experience we need to have. You know, I hope you find peace or whatever, because I honestly don't give a fuck. Do not show up, though, because I will stab you. I remember saying that, and they were like, no, you don't have to say that. And I was like, no, I'm letting them know. don't physically come around. He's nowhere around here. But I'm not mad no more. I let it go. 100% let it go. It's weird to let go of that kind of anger. Like, you know, the things people put you through in violent, horrible situations that are just terrifying, you know. I let it all go. Doesn't bother me. I feel like I wouldn't be me if that didn't happen. It happened so long ago that I don't give a shit no more. I don't wish that on anyone, but it happened to me. So what am I going to fucking bitch about until the day I die and fucking hold a grudge? No. No. Not doing it. And I'm not coming back as his fucking friend. And I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm over it. Like, if you hold these grudges and then just not get compassionate in any way, shape, or form and just make forgiveness with you and yourself and the things over there, you get doomed to repeat that stuff in another lifetime. And I'm not coming back here again. I'm graduating. I'm just going to be here now. Like, it's like graduation. See, everyone's like, wow, we're going. I don't know about that. I'm still in the belief that we just change the frequency here and things get really good. We don't notice it so much. However, I was talking to Della, so shout outs to Della, about, okay, so the last month we've been hit with solar flares, all different kinds. They name them all different things. Have you noticed? We talked about it. It drove us nuts for 2 days. And then I find out on the second day that we're in it, that's what we're in. And then it's over for me and still going for everyone else. For a few days, I watched people go through some crazy shit, but I was fine by then. So I was like, okay, we're ahead of the wave. I realized what was going on. My awareness is key. Then it happens again, and they talk about it on the fucking news. Then privately, if you're in the back channels, they're like, yo, communications are going out in cell areas, and this is happening over here. You have all kinds of weird fucking things going on, but your body starts experiencing crazy shit, like things that you never thought would affect you or affecting you. Memories of past lives, of this life, things that you thought you got rid of, they're just like coming up to the surface. Like, oh my god, it's like a full moon, solar fucking flare, this, that, the other thing. It's also, it's Easter, it's Passover, it's fucking hungry, it's thirsty, it's fucking Superman, it's Batman, it's the pineapple. I don't fucking know. This is space Jesus returning, UFOs everywhere, right? Like, your body is making the change into the frequency. That's the solar flare. Solar flash. Wait a second. I've said this before. They're like a repeated, stronger each time burp of energy, blast of energy from the sun directly at us. There is no coincidence. Oh, it's a coinky think that this happened. No, it's synchronistically building up to a giant one. Okay? It's not going to wreck everything. It's building up to this is why I keep saying, I think we talked about this last week, hitting the wall. If you're not doing the work, and it sounds like I'm droning, if you're not doing the work, you hit the fucking wall. Each one of those solar flashes, woof, it shoots energy towards the earth. We absorb that energy. We're sitting and wafting in it. And then it puts us in a higher level. We never go down again. You don't go down from that next level. So you're bathing in source energy. They'll tell you, oh, it's fucking radiation. It's going to give you cancer if you stand out. Dude, there's no chance of hiding of any of this. Your fucking underground bases are flooded with it. The inner earth is flooded with it. It like radiates to the center of the planet, and the planet radiates back at it, making us just like fucking bathe in it nonstop. And then you go, well, then it's over, and it dissipates. No, it doesn't dissipate. It's the new thing. So that never goes away. That's the next level. And you're just like, oh, I just went through some crazy shit. Okay, I feel fine. Oh, everything's good. And now as you go on, though, in the week or in the month, as you move towards the next one that you're unaware of, let's say, because this is all supposed to be a giant surprise anyway, and you only get 8 minutes from when that thing fucking shoots it at you to when you get hit with it. And it lasts, they say, for like 32 to 48 hours. I would say a week. It lasts like a week. They're lying. And then you go, well, it dissipates. No, you look at the Schumann resonance. It completely changes. You go like, boom, boom. And that's the ascension ride. You're making it. Those with weak hearts and take vaccinations and they're having heart attacks here and there. Their bodies can't handle anything that's going on. It pulls because you're you're in an advanced situation. An extreme. All right, help me say this. I'll just keep it an extremely fast state of evolution. You're catching up on the. It's way more than 75,000 years, but 75,000 years is a lot as well. It's 3 cycles of 70. What? 3 cycles of 75,000 years. It's a long fucking time, guys. So they've had us for a while, longer than expected, but so they've slowed the process through the poisoning experience, through the parasite experience, through. Yeah. Okay. So you get the point. They've taken over to a degree and slowed our process. Cannot stop it. So it's as slow as the next step would have been the worst, but then they go after that next step. There's no coming back. There's just no coming back. So we couldn't save you if we tried. You'd already be part of the collective hive at that point. 2 jumps from now. That's terrifying. That's fucking terrifying. It's like 2 lifetimes from now, you're part of the collective evil hive drone. They're basically raping you and eating you and keeping you in fucking concentrated cities in fear so they could eat your, whatever. I'm not going to get into that shit. However, work back the other way. Slingshot effect, judo chop, judo flip, aikido move, and it's whatever group of 75,000 years of evolution we did not have in this lifetime. All in this lifetime, huh? What do you consider a lifetime? Oh, I fucking hate these answers I get sometimes. What do I consider a lifetime? 75 years before my. No, I'm yelling out loud. I'm connected hard. That didn't sound right. Okay. In my lifetime of that 75 years, you'll totally see it. But I will still be alive. They're like, you'll still be here. You're going to be here. You're going to do the transform into the long distance haul and take off. Some people are doing that. Those that are the example are doing it. Some people are going home. Some people are literally going home. Some people go home by method of death and they go back to like where they're projecting from. They're on ships. Some of them die naturally and then go home to another planet. Some people die and reincarnate and come back as a different being. Some people stay sick but still hit frequency where you're like, oh my God, how'd they make it? And then they make it. They get healthy. They use the technology so the technology that's coming. Hold on, that's too fast. Sound and light. I'm sorry if I'm jumping. I'm getting a download right now. They're just literally talking to me right there. Sound technology. They'll stick you in a They're like, think of a room at Circuit City or Best Buy where you go in and listen to the sound for the new surround sound system, and you sit in a chair, and then you turn on the show. Except the show will be a sound, a frequency of sound, a sound wave that you sit in for 20 minutes, and you're cured of all diseases, everything. You will even start to revert back in age, like facial scars. I have some scars on my face, my body. They're gone. They'll heal. You'll get cellular. Oh God. Thank you. Healing on the cellular level. Thank you so much for that. There's just a lot of info flowing in at once. Then light therapy. So they'll inject a liquid inside of you and then put light inside, like through tubes, be able to shoot light through that liquid. It'll just light up the liquid. Was that what Trump was saying back when people were like, this guy's dumb, they're injecting light into me and they're going to heal people? And I'm like, I think he's talking about med beds and shit. And they're like, no. They're like, you're going to inject you with a liquid that they can shoot the light through the liquid and it'll light the whole thing up. And that will kill everything that does not belong in your body and give you the ability to heal. Now, this is what they're telling you. This was the point of this whole fucking thing. Fuck. You're actually doing the healing. It's giving you the ability to catch up, and your body does it. It responds to it like, I don't want to say like it's crack, but I'm like I'm seeing it in my visual. Your body just activates itself. Okay, so the example will be shown. All right, so we'll have examples of it out there. We'll be able to see this work. It's already been talked about to one degree or another in different ways, different shapes, different forms. I know they say med beds all the time, but this isn't a med bed. This is like a frequency room. You just go in, 20 minutes, you're out. Like they're just showing it like as if you're going to a spa. Like you're just going to sit there and be like, you're not going to notice anything. You're just going to start feeling really good. And then things will start working extremely well on another level. Your cells remember. It's like they turn back its own clock. You guys, all right. So the timer that makes us die, that sets us along the path of born to death, and the timer of years, which is random, but it's also, you're not making it to 150 really. And if you do, you'll be old and rickety. They're like, that's programmed into your DNA, and they're going to unprogram that. I'm a little bit kind of shocked right now. I kind of knew that, but I don't think I've ever seen it like this before. I'm like talking to you and talking to them. They're just like right here. So you don't have to drink blood or no shit like that. Your cells will just remember the way it's supposed to be. Oh, so, okay, that's much easier. 12-strand DNA. As your DNA activates, you'll be getting the benefits of having that active, and that's what it does. That's one of the caveats, as well as telepathy, telekinesis, every kind of kinesis, evil kinesis. No, all of those different abilities. Take it down a notch. It would be just your connection to animals is where it starts, they're saying. Who's that sexy lady?
Don't show my light.
Oh, you're the one bending over by the window. What are you doing?
I'm putting the exchange on because it's hot in the bedroom.
So put the one on in the bedroom.
You don't even know what's happening. Shut up.
I don't. Okay, so your cells aren't supposed to do the die-off thing.
No.
They're supposed to shed and continue forever. Wow, that's really good. Holy shit.
Is it too cold for you?
Nah, it's really good.
Because I can put it low.
Yeah, you're good. Oh my god.
Oh, stupid.
Yeah, they're just supposed to shed every 7 years, and they're like, it would be heightened at that level. So it'd be like every few years you'd have shed everything over and over and over again. And then it's perfect memory of the new one. So it's fresh and new, kind of like a shark with a new tooth.
Exciting.
They're fresh. It's exciting. It's so exciting to me. Oh,
Come here. Just come here for 1 second. You gotta see this.
Wait.
Just come here.
Please hold.
Just 1 second. It looks like toads on a log. I'm curled up in the corner right
This
there.
is my problem. I couldn't go to bed last night. I couldn't get in bed last night. There are just cats everywhere on the bed. It's like, everyone's in? It's fucking 60 degrees. Get the fuck out of my house. I couldn't get into bed last night, and then I got in, and Oscar got up against me. It was 110 fucking degrees. I kept pushing him across the bed. He kept curling back up. And then I thought he was trying to get out, and his head popped out right near my neck. So I like pulled the covers back, and I'm like, "You trying to get out? Get the fuck out!" And then he just looks at me like all cute, and then stretches into me, and I'm like, "Get off!" Oh my god. Yeah, he spoons you. So I just went into like a fucking crazy rant, and oh my goodness, I didn't even get to see anyone's post. I love you guys so much. Let me just yeah, Lexi, like this is the round. This is the graduation round. We're here. We're doing it.
The finish line is so close.
Sorry, it's blowing right on the back of my head. My head, so we're going with a hat. So we're graduating this round, and graduation is many different things. Some people are leaving. Some people are just going to leave on a ship. Some people are going to go to the inner Earth. Some people are just going to get on a fucking their own thing. I don't know. It's what's infinite randomness that's not really random, right? Everybody's just an individual doing their thing. So it's like when you get out of a movie theater, everyone goes in different directions, goes and does something different. Some people go to eat, some people go home, a bunch of people just fucking, I don't know, go to the friends' houses, party, smoke some weed, and fucking crash. Some people go to the club, some people go to another land, right? It's just non-stop stuff that takes us in those directions. So, and that's okay. All of that is good. And it doesn't matter where you fall into that, because what's in your highest interest from your highest self is going to play itself out. That's why, like, even any of us that are talking can only talk from like wisdom and experience on what's going on. I can't tell you the silver bullet way. That's why I don't say I can save you. And I'm always like, look, if you want to try ayahuasca, that's the way to go. At least you'll get a chance. You'll get to open up. You're here having the experience. It's like you came to the action park and you're not going on the action ride. I don't understand. You have the ability to access your mind on a higher level, yet you're refusing on all levels to even try. So nothing I can do. I'm not here to fucking push your buttons and control you and just move you. I'm telling you it exists. Here's what's going on in my world. And at any point you could jump in and make it your world. Right? I just can't go through this life and not try psychedelics knowing what they do. Because like McKenna said, that would be like coming here and not having sex and not trying it. It's like you're not going to have sex once. You're missing something being in this 3D world and not trying that stuff. Like it's like drinking water. Right? Like you're not going to drink any? Come on, really? You're not going to try? It's really good. It's good for your kidneys. Make your pee turn clear. You'll feel better. You know, won't be as cranky. Whatever. Okay, so this is where all this heads. And you know what's really fucking freaking me out a little bit? So I've talked about this before when I go to Volume 3, and it's going to be when the ETs show up, right? So as soon as so all this, we've already given all the preparation, so now it's just the story and where it goes. But when it flips, and I've seen this many times, me having my phone and being out in a field with them on this little hilly thing, and like people are gathering, but it's not a lot. It's maybe somewhere between 30 and 50 people. I don't know, like just hanging out and observing what's happening, and we're all cool about it, like, yeah. And then I'm with my like an ET buddy, and I'm taking pictures with him on the hill to show you at home, like, oh, my group did it, like this group of us, and then there was like people that were just there and we were taking pictures together, like we're out in the field at night, and then the ET's with us, but he's like family to me. I know this guy, and then they give us like outfits, like if you want to wear the outfit or whatever that they wear. So it's the same one that the guys that were with Space Jesus. This is why I know it's the Galactic Fed guys. It was black with the blue chest, right? And then like blue a little bit lower, and then a black belt and like black pants. I think it had blue on the sides, like on the arms. It looked. I said to them when I saw this, yo, I didn't know that it like zipped or unzipped or whatever. The way they were wearing it, it was like closed and kind of. They looked like Star Trek. It looked like the guys on the bridge in blue, like Spock, but better. It looked like a better version of what Spock was wearing, honestly. Because when I met Ashtar, he was wearing the exact same thing, but he had a silver stripe. It was like a silver band around him, and he had long hair, and he was kind of small. He's not small, but to me, he was thin, and he was really good. He looked like the elf from Lord of the. When they're in the elf area in the forest, they all seem to have a little bit glow about them, like the king and shit. He kind of looked like that, but he was mad easy going. Really cool. Anyway, so his was just slightly different. The blue with the black on him was more blue. Anyway, so they gave me one of the jackets, and I asked them, is it form-fitting or whatever? And it fit perfect. Fucking perfect. So I had a white t-shirt on underneath, and I don't zip it up. I don't close it. It's just open, so it looks like a jacket. And I'm like, yo, this is fucking awesome. And I just start taking pictures. And I'm like, yo, people aren't gonna believe this. They're like, oh, you're allowed to. And now you're allowed to. And then we go on the ship, we hang out, we talk to everybody, they bring us all back, and we realize that they never not been here. We just had to like upgrade to the frequencies to have the experience. And then the experience is permanent. It's not this is a forever direction. Once the split occurs, and the split is, man, I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe this anymore. Each time I think I describe it or talk to you guys about it, I do it a little differently. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But like the 5D to 3D and the clock face and jumping from earth to earth and looking down, I really think it's just people that choose to not want to be part of this anymore, the system, not the earth. They want to be on earth, but they don't want to be part of the system. They know that there's beauty and love and all these great fucking things that everyone could be doing, but we're too busy working and getting raped and murdered, literally and metaphorically, in every fucking direction. I was looking at the taxes. Man, you get tax, and then tax, and then you got money, and then you go and you pay, you get tax. Whew. Yeah, this isn't going to last long. It can't physically hold up inside this 3D realm experience, because we're going to all lose our shit, because there's not going to be anything left. You're going to just want to be like, fuck this. I'm ready to do it too. I'm like, man, this is getting crazy, but let it go. Hands up, enjoy the ride. Prepare yourself. Preparation is key. Awareness is key. Get right with yourself and let it go, man. And while it's going, you start creating. The world changes because we build a better one. Just like when I saw the guy doing the beehive thing, I have no clue about carpentry experience. I built a table with Paula and a few other things around the house. Did a shiplap design in the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. Changed out a few lights, did some shit. But watching this guy, and he said, please, I'm just doing this by myself 3 years. I have no prior knowledge of this. I do, however, do this. Look at it. See if you can add to it, because two minds are better than one. And I immediately had 5 versions that I couldn't explain at first, and then explained it perfectly. Paul and I just kept going, and we knew how we would build ours. And I know that'll change 50 times because I could think better than that, which is fucking amazing. Because a couple of years back, even, I would say, I don't know, I can't do that. You know, there were things I achieve every day, daily, whatever, whenever it happens, where I didn't have that skill prior to knowing you guys and being on air with you. And then I achieved that skill, you know, and then I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I share it with you guys. I'm like, look what we're doing. Okay, saying that, now I just want to touch on something really quick. So I know that's, I mean, I don't know if you guys want me to keep talking about like Galactic Federation stuff. Is that what you're into? I know some people are like, oh, that's bullshit. It's definitely not bullshit. But do I believe and put all my power in them over like Space Jesus instead of? No. The answer is no across the board. I am the number one. Me. Doesn't mean I'm going to do anything to you to be number one. Everything is from within me. If it's not, I'll know. But the good shit seems to come out when I do the work. And then the projection comes forward of that which is good. Like, I don't accept the darkness no more. You know, that doesn't sound right. The violence and the evil and the this and the that. Like, it has no place here with me. So not only am I not going to be like that, I'm not going to put myself around that. Like I told Paul, there'll be no subway riding for you ever again in your life, so you can forget it. You'll never be in the subway again in New York after what's happened here. There's been more shootings daily. I don't even want to talk about it. We're very aware of it. We understand it. We're doing our best to get the fuck up out of here. But I'm not worried that someone's going to walk in and start shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like, can it happen? Maybe. You know, sure, if you put your fucking fear into it. I also walk outside and fucking, you never know who you're just walking by in the street. And everyone's like, yo, man, what's up, man? What's up, man? You know, like, there's a lot of shit that goes on here. Lots. It's just mixed in. Powder keg. So I choose that whatever I'm projecting forward is going to be that of the highest frequency imaginable. I can't even imagine it. That's how imaginable it is. And I imagine trying to imagine what it is, and I can't because it's so great and groovy that it's just fucking just awesome. And then I'm like, well, what is that? And then I go, well, it's me. And then people go, what do you mean you're God? I'm like, you're God too, man. Stop it. Years ago, I wouldn't even use that word, capital G. I always go lowercase g. Because I don't want you to get confused. With God of the New and Old Testament is basically Enlil in the New Testament, and Enlil might be the Old Testament God. Anu and Enlil. So I'm pretty sure there's a God out there, but they don't dress like that. You know what I'm saying? Give me a fucking break. Neither one of them are God at all. And you know how I know this? You know how I know this? I'm Anki. So I'm through there. Like, and that's my direct bloodline. That's how I know. We'll be confused and fighting with each other over all the intimate details of bullshit instead of just facing the fucking facts. But the truth will be presented on a fucking platter. It's not going to be pretty. Oh, it's going to be so ugly. And I'm not threatening anybody with it either. I love it. I told Paul the day they go, Hunter Biden's going to jail. Joe Biden's falling on himself. He's throwing up, and they put him in a diaper, and they're executing him. I'm going to be just sitting here watching TV like, do it. Because I'm that guy. I'm just like, right? Like, the popcorn's out and everything. But until that happens, until they announce some crazy shit, I'm working towards the fact that I'm going to be sitting in an open class of extraterrestrial family members, physically sitting with all of them, just like you will be too. There will be a point where you will be too. These devices on the planet, these arcs, don't activate without you, without the DNA. Each one has specific DNAs to the people on the planet. So it ain't going nowhere without you. That's how it works. That's just how it is. Until they come out and they start telling people, come on, you're coming with us right now. You got to activate your part of the arc. You got to go in and turn it your area on, or this thing ain't going nowhere. You'll become special treated all of a sudden. Oh, come with us. This is how it works. This is the meek inheriting the earth, the knowledge, the truth. Idrisil herself is going to become the whole tree of life becomes your area. You become like an ambassador to the tree of life and become your own tree of life at the same time. That's what makes you the ambassador. It's like why you're picked. You're like born here on the planet. You are of the planet. You love the planet. You probably don't want any job as an ambassador to anything. You just want to love shit and just do stuff and love and have a good time. Yeah, perfect. You're an ambassador to the planet. Do you hurt anything here? No. Do you want things to live here? Yes. Do you protect things? Yes. Do you love things? Yes. You're perfect. Perfect. Well, no, not perfect. I picked my nose, obviously, and I got a limp. My hair just got this weird spot, and there's nothing there, grows, and then I get this weird smell that comes off me. You're perfect. You're perfect. When I said that, I squeezed a little hard and split the paper. You're perfect. Because you get tired of telling people how perfect they are, and they can't believe because of all the flaws they truly know about themselves. But those are the flaws that once you conquer, like you did it. Okay, so you fell, so you stole, so you punched someone, you did something bad, you lied, cheated, stealed your way through something. Are you still doing that shit? No. Have you made a choice to be better and never do that again? Yes. Have you done that again? No. Have you chosen to live a fucking higher frequency and just be not like that to people? Yes. So what the fuck is the problem? We all make mistakes. You don't get into a position of wisdom without making fucking mistakes. How many lifetimes did I go through where I don't know, a piece of shit, right? Where you live this life of this character, and you can't imagine being like that. You're like, that could never be. Oh, shit, it's me. Look at that. Look, I did do that. And it's like, man, I can't be hard on myself. Just let that go. Just know not to be like that here. But I went through that, so I have the wisdom for it. Give me the wisdom. Get rid of everything else. Take everything else from me. I don't want anything but wisdom. And that's how we level up. That's why they say there's really no good or bad. We kind of make that judgment. Although, I don't know, man. You poison a country or something like that, you're pretty much Dr. Evil. Oh, Cobra Commander. Paul, are you awake? Do you want some of this? You're transforming into a cat? Oh. I'm going to go in bed and she's going to be just covered in cat hair. Thank you guys so much for listening, for tuning in, hanging out. I know it's a late night session tonight. There's so much going on. I have to go in the other room and do the ayahuasca. I have it on I'm even sciencing with that. I'm learning new ways to make it. Oh, that shit's really good. I'm learning the long game with it. It's like I'm adding 2 hours to my magic butter experience with it. each time I send it through the wash. I know you don't know what that means, maybe, but maybe you do. You put a clump, or like 30 grams to 100 if you want, whatever, into the magic butter machine, and you put it on 4 hours at the temperature you want. I was doing 2-hour sessions, and then into the pot, and then you keep filling the pot, but you take that clump and you put it back in, and you keep running the cycles on the machine. I just don't do it traditionally because of by doing it this way, I take away about 30 hours on it because I make it really intense and then shrink it down to nothing. Take this fucking hat off. So science, even with my stuff, with the next round, because I know when you hit it right, and you put the time, effort, and energy into it, mama, then you're gonna have the experience you're looking for. It makes it worth it. So worth it. I'm going back. I'm trying to read some of this. It's really difficult on this little iPad. Yeah, the ice wall. I agree. There's more. It's almost like we're in a giant crater. It's not just it. I guess you have to see it. Yeah, I don't believe in the dome and stuff. It's not a physical dome. It's like the atmosphere, the layers of the atmosphere is layered. If you launch something at it the wrong way, it's like when you hit water. And don't take that the wrong way, because everything's waters, but not waters. Right? Like hyperspace is like a hyperfluid. You just don't see the bubbles. It's like you're in this hyperfluid where you just move. As I claimed to Lucifer when I met him, I'm the king of all waters. So that's a lot of stuff. It's like the 7 seas and all that. He was like looking at me like, the 7 seas. He's like, everything's water. Everything's liquid. Everything. So I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. And then I saw it and I went, holy shit. Like, we're in a hyperfluid, which is why as a spirit form, I move unrestricted, flying at like top speeds. And you could just get faster, as fast as you think you can go, you can just go. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Like, yep. I would have never thought that. But when they say there's like oceans up there and all that, like it's like over exaggerating the point. Is it an enclosed system? Yeah, it's the living library. Of course, it's an enclosed system. It has everything here genetically. It has to be a closed system because they don't want you running rampant and coming out there and smashing things as well. But they also don't let you just go absolutely buck nuts in here anymore. Like you can't. I don't know. I don't want to say you can't because that wouldn't be right. Because they showed me we're gonna let what the darkness was gonna have play out. We're gonna let them play it out, but we have them. They're captured. So it's until you wake up. And I was like, me? And they were like, if necessary. So I'm like, okay, well, what? They're like, everything. We're gonna let it play out. We're gonna let them do. If they're gonna blow something up, we're gonna let them blow it up. We're not gonna let them nuke nothing. We're not gonna let them kill a bazillion people. But we're gonna let some fucked up shit happen to show you their plans, because that's what they're gonna do. I'm like, well, that's fucked up. But when you look from their higher level, because I get into arguments with them. I went into the Galactic Federation chamber where they were having some meeting, and there was reptilians sitting on the council, and I fucking lost my shit. I was like, why is he here? Like, what is this fucking thing doing here? And they were like, he's always been on the council. I'm like, yeah, he eats children, babies. And they're like, yeah, you eat chicken babies, don't you? And I'm like, it's not the same, but I follow. And they were like, yeah, he's one of us. I'm like, oh, so I got to be cool when this fucking thing has been making my lifetime after lifetime miserable, what he does to my people. Like, if he doesn't do that to your people don't wake up. I'm like, oh shit. So this is like a plan. All you are in on it. And they're like, yep, agenda. I tell you that every fucking time. Everyone's got an agenda. And Aya will tell you, she does it with me, you're my ambassador. Like she doesn't covet me. I'm her child. So she does this to all of us, but it's whether or not you choose to be fucking aware of it or not. But it's one of the coolest things. She's like, you're my child, my ambassador to me. Like I look after you, you look after me. Like it's a symbiotic relationship. The way I have with Paula or my mother, and there's like people that I care about. It's like super like that. So when someone's agenda, it doesn't match hers. It doesn't match mine automatically. And then they'll be like, no, but we're doing it for you. And it's like, nah, it doesn't match what I'm doing. Like I have to do this, but you're like telling me, well, we'll do this and then do this and then this will occur. And it's like, no, we don't want you to do that. Maybe Aya's like, no, get the fuck out of here. Did you ask permission? I always say that to beings. Did anyone consult Mother Earth before making these decisions? And they always go, no, I would be fucking talk to the planet. I'm like, well, she's alive for one. And the fact that you don't know she's alive and I'm here means I'm the ambassador. See, this is how you get ambassadorship. You just of it, buy it, for it. I don't need you to label it me. I am it. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. Well, then what do you do, Mr. Ambassador? No, see, you're bringing it into that dictatorship line of there's a hierarchy of stuff. I'm a representative of the planet. An ambassador, I come forward, right? Like if you come out and literally throw shit on my lawn, I will fuck you up. And if you don't clean that up, I will fuck you up. Quickness, right? Just like a white blood cell will attack or a red blood cell will attack something that's not supposed to be in the body. You're not supposed to shit here and throw your shit here. What are you doing? At the same time, I'll just keep my area and spot clean, healthy, happy. The animals are fed. Everything's working within a rhythm of nature of some kind, the rhythm of life, of the lifestyle I live. I try to work with it, but I do the best I can. If I know I can't get up in the morning, I fill the bird seed at night before I go to bed. So then at 5 in the morning when they're there fucking going berserk, they have a first set of food, just like the cats will, so nobody wakes us up in the morning. And then I could get up at fucking 9, 10 o'clock. Although lately it's been 8. Shit's blowing around my neck. My Kojak is chilly. So in regards to all this, all I really have time to care about is what I am. I don't have to study the arts. I don't have to like have someone clean and clear me so I rise up into the next frame of things. I just have to live good. I gotta like try to be as healthy as I can, as happy as I can, without trying. Like you just have a good time. Do what's in your highest order. Do the things that make you happy. Do things, create things. Doesn't matter what you're creating, whether you're coloring in a book and you're singing a song in the shower, you're fucking touching your toes so you're stretching your sciatic out because we're all getting old and we need to learn how to stretch again because we're all tight. That creates a new you. So that's creation. I bug out sometimes and I'll sit here with an action figure because I have to have inspiration around me. So I have Sabretooth with me right now, right? So Sabretooth is a villain. He's rah, he's all, rah, right? And he's right here. And then I'll go, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know how to create. And I'll look at him and I'll go, rah, right? And then I'll grab him and then I'll pull out another weirdo, right? With a fucking, with a ninja. You're gonna bug out. You're gonna be like, how old are you? You're almost 50. I'll be like, I'm 47. So I have the Nightcrawler with the gray ninja and the saber tooth, and all I do is take him like this and put him in a new pose right in front of me and go, fight you with the sword, I'm gonna eat you with the fucking thing. Instantly, my mind goes into creation. I start wanting to write a verse. I remember. I start to remember what's going on. Like,
I don't remember anything.
the creation comes back. So I'm like, well, how did that happen? They're like, well, you're creating. Oh, wow. Now I smell it. They're creating action poses with the characters. So it's a new frame photo in your mind that you're building by bending a knee and taking a thing and going, rah. Like, I'm not really playing with it. I'm just bending them and posing them and putting them in front of me and changing them up every couple of days like it's a moving photograph of a comic book. So they're like, yeah, that's creating, bro. Are you happy when you do it? I go, oh, fuck yeah. Right? It's like, well, you're doing it. I'm like, well, that's it? And they're like, well, yeah, technically that's really all you have to do, because people out there that, let's just say, only do that and it makes them happy, or only plants and makes them happy, and they don't do the Space Jesus thing, and they don't do the Shiva thing, and my neck, man, it was giving me a frozen neck. You better. So yeah, right on. You only have to do what it makes you happy in this world. You're not required to do more. Some of us have contracts, like myself, probably people that listen to this show, right? Or part of this. We have to wake up. We have to do certain things. If we don't do them, there's going to be a problem with our higher good. I'm just looking through really quick. I hope I didn't. There's just so much going on. I'm so glad you guys are all talking, chatting. Special shout outs to KG, my man. We got a new one coming. It's done. But we're doing it right this time. Right, KG? We're following their way this time. Yeah, I think I'm reading this. I think they will EMP somewhere. I think it'll be controlled, though. It'd be like Wall Street. It doesn't matter. The dollar's crashing anyway, so everything's going to be to cover everything else. So it's not going to matter. Each thing is going to cause the other thing to occur. So whether they EMP and they stand in the street naked and call the Ghostbusters and everybody starts jerking off and then doesn't talk about it when the plane lands, I don't know.
Oh my God.
I know. It's weird, right? It's fucked up. It's crazy. No matter what, if UFOs come out and this Project Blue Beam, whatever, it's all going to cause the housing market to crash, the dollar to crash, and then what they want to do is the Great Reset, and we are the Great Awakening. So there's your split, right? It's like those that want to be in the fear mode and be part of the dictator system, the communist system, the bullshit system, the system of slavery. I just wanted to yell at. Or those that are like, nah, fuck this. That was really little.
Trying to funnel myself into the bed.
I don't even know what that means, but you look so sexy saying it. Okay.
4 cats in the bed.
I know. You got to
to
drop an elbow in the middle of the bed and they'll all just fly off the bed. You got to go cannonball.
I feel claustrophobic now.
That's what happened to me. I ran out here last night. I was choking. I go, I can't breathe. I go, wait a second. I can breathe just fine. It's just too hot, man. Too many. Get out of my bed. It's like the more space we get, the more cats just sit in the spaces we get for us.
Whatever, I'm just gonna.
Here, take this.
I have nowhere to go.
Just sit, pull up a chair.
Pacing like a panther. I don't no.
No. You want to show your hand?
No. Hi.
So yeah, we have a new track coming out called Relentless, and you know, I talked about when I was writing, like breaking through. It took me 3 months. I didn't have writer's block. I had writer's block with 3 tracks, and then nothing else. And not only did I have writer's block, what I had, because I rewrote it so many times, and I thought each time it was fly, it just was not fly. It was so whack. It was fucking whack. I don't even know what to say. Fucking whack, right? So I'm like, I can't do this. And then I'm like, no, I can do this. I'm just not. I don't want to be whack. Like, I'm not giving up, but Kev's gonna kill me if I take any more time. But we had this giant talk the other night. It was great. I was like, yo, I couldn't. I remember when I broke through, I had 1 line out of 8 lines left. And I was like, why doesn't this fucking line work? Why does it sounds boring right at that point? Like, I was losing my shit. And then I snapped, heard the line in my head completely. It was a simple fix. I said, 3 months for this, motherfucker. And then I started doing the verse over and over and over and over and over. And I'm like, this is a great verse. And then I went and I recorded it, and it just came right out. I was like, well, that was pretty good. Now, all right, so the next time I was telling Kev, I was working on the next track. Now, the next track is 16 bars. So I trashed everything I had originally because that was whack too. Is actually a great verse. If you were on like a pure hip hop beat where it's like, then that shit would work. Not being, it's more of a rock fucking vibe the next couple of tracks. So it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I'm trying to fit and move and doesn't work. Threw the whole thing out. Shit, so I'm starting over. I was sitting here and I was like, I can't do good anymore, man. I just want to enjoy what I do, but I'm not going to enjoy it unless it's really good for me. So I just want to do better. I want to be more, just like I become someone more. So I took this one piece that I wrote, I slid it over, and now I had to write the rest. And I said, how could I make anything work with what I just said right here, which almost doesn't work? And then it just it came out a little bit. And I was like, yo, this is really great. And then I got stuck. And then I heard Guru, who passed away a few years ago. So he was in Gangstar. It was him and DJ Premier. So I did his tribute song with my group, Heist Click. And it got really popular. But it's just basically his beat. We have it sampled differently, but very similar. And then we're just rhyming on it, and it's like attached to his song. So whenever you look up Work from Guru, the next song that usually comes up is Hard Work from Heist Click. And people shit all over us all the time. How the fuck did you get on here? You guys suck or whatever. That song's great, by the way, both songs. So he shows up, he's like right here, and he's just like going, listen. You're too old school. You just check this out. And I'm like, oh wait, rhymes within the rhymes, within the rhymes, within the rhymes, and then back to the other rhyme. If that's what you feel in the rhyme inside the rhyme. And I'm just thinking about it, and he's like, shut up and listen. And so he did this rhyme, and I said, okay, I'm not rhyming what you. As I was talking to him about wanting to be like him and being mad, grateful to have that experience or whatever, I'm not going to copy what he says. But something in what he said made me rewrite the rest right there on the spot. The whole rest just came right out. And it sounded like him in me, but not copying what he said. It just fit my song instead. But that flow he was using, which I was like, yo, I don't know if I could do that. Just listen. You never listen. We always, but you don't understand. Shh, just watch. And then something clicked in me immediately, and I was like, oh, I was like, Guru, man, you do me a favor, man. You got to be quiet for a second. He's like, what? I'm like, I can't listen to you rap and write my part. Can you come back later? I'll have a fat verse, I swear. So he like just went away into the background, and when I needed him, it was like one of the masters came out to teach me. Just like when I needed carpentry, it wasn't Space Jesus that showed me the carpentry. It was just these other beings. They came out and just talked like how to measure. One guy showed me like how to like anchor stuff to the ground, or one was like telling me when you do the light socket, you got to shut this off, you got to do that, but it's really just this and this, and you're done. And I'm like, no way. So then I do a little bit looking, and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty easy. I think I could just do this. Just shut the electricity off first. Shut the electricity, 2 seconds, done. I'm like, man, that would have cost me $100, maybe more, if I had someone come and do it. I didn't know any of this stuff. Anyway, so all this stuff is coming to now, right? So if they're like, if you want it, you gotta push through that layer of shit. You're stuck. We understand. We get writer's block and everything, but you're not giving up. I spent a month where 65% of the time at night I was spending writing rhymes, which is a lot for me. That's a lot. So I have a notebook filled with all different shit. All the next group of songs that's coming, I have just these 3 have to get done. I was challenged with them. It's something I wanted my whole life. Imagine this. Apply it to your life. The beginning of my life, it's what I wanted. I wanted rap rock of some kind, where it's hip hop, but it's rock, so that you could express both. And then I kind of had that, but it was always samples of some kind, or like playing a piece of this guy's track, and then you know how hip hoppers do, they sample stuff all the time. So we had like Jimi Hendrix samples, we had Down in the Corner, we had the license to that sample. Hand of Doom with Ozzy Osbourne, we had that sample. We still have that sample, which is great. The what you gonna do, don't when we come for you, like we have that. So I was telling Kev, we never had just a rock song of our own. Like that's ours, not a sample. Where it's still like it becomes the new original style instead of, I don't know, instead of sampling from someone, it's like you've now created you without having to sample someone, but you could throw a sample in there. A sample is just a musical note here and there, or a loop of some kind. Hi, which one are you, Murphy or Mervin? Marvin, Mervin. No, I turn around. I gotta see your face. There's new cats here. Hi, you can eat. Just don't spray on nothing, because you will receive the wrath. I'm not having that. So we're putting our all into it now, and I'm getting that music now. Like, and it's really good. I'm shocked, but I've become an OG hip hop guy. So I'm used to the dun 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 dun. Like the first 3 songs we did are very hip hop, and then it starts getting really rock, right? And I've always with the hip hop in it, and that's what I always wanted, and I was always raring to go, and now I have it, and I'm confused because I turned into an OG rapper, like hip hop guy, where I'm just like, I don't know, it's different. And Kev was like, out of the comfort zone is where you find your success. I know, and he's right, out of the comfort zone, and then you push a little further. You feel like you can't get it done. I remember I sang, I think it was the first song I ever sang in hip hop, where I'm singing like literally it's me doing it. Is my This song is out there, so you could look it up. I don't remember the name of it. Oh, shit. But it's Mr. Burns, so it's on music. So if you looked up Mr. Burns music, he has a song about his baby being born. God, why can't I remember this name? And I sing on the hook the way Kev sings on our hooks. Not rock though; it's like hip hop. But I'm singing like that's singing. It's straight singing. I'm like I don't know where this came from. So she was, Heist Click family. So I thought it was cool to have a song like this for the kid when she grows up and everything. And the whole first month I worked on it, I sounded like shit, but had the lyrics moving. And then I released myself. I was giving up, but then I said, come on, man. I did. Just stop saying, come on, man, and just do it. And then I hit it. I was done with it, and I hit it, and I couldn't not hit the perfect note. Every other time I sang that song, it was perfect. Every time. I sent him a demo, and he was like, dude, I hate this. And then sent him when I hit it and put it in the song. He was like, this is fucking awesome. And I go, I know. I can't not do it now. And I had to push so fucking hard to get there. When I played sports, I played football. I'll just relay this to you yourself and what you do. But I played football in high school and then came back to the park and they were playing football. And my singer, who wasn't my singer at the time, he was just my buddy Sam, my first singer, he was like, they were choosing sides. I got picked last. So I said, what the fuck is going on? All you guys suck. Like, you're all terrible. Every one of you that's here. There was like 40 people there. I was talking so much shit. They were so pissed at me. So everyone knew me. Everyone was friends with me. And they were like swearing up and down that I was the worst. They were like, Frank, don't give a fuck. Go read a comic book, whatever. I'm like, no, I play football. I'm the only one here out of all these people. We had the toughest kid there, the fastest kid there, the kid that could jump the highest, the kid that could run the longest, the kid that could run the shortest, the kid that it didn't matter. I was like, listen to me. I don't know what you even do. I said to my buddy Sam. I said, but I'm obviously going to be 1,000 times better than you. I'm not even trying to make fun of you. I don't know why you guys are acting like this, but let's play some football. I caught every touchdown. I'm not a touchdown catcher. I'm like a murderer. So I was catching touchdowns. I was destroying them. Interceptions, catching the quarterback, running, kicking, everything you could imagine. And then a few of my friends that were playing that were like hardcore friends. Like we played, we used to play Magic and Dungeons and Dragons. So those kids knew I could play. So I started like flipping them the ball and blocking for them and turning my team into great. And my buddy Sam goes, dude, I'm just going to throw you the ball every time. I go, no, don't do that. I go, this is how we're going to run the game. And then it was amazing. And it's like, I was putting in all the work. I didn't realize it. All the kids that were better than me in the playground were not better than me anymore. Because I was every day putting in the work. I was really putting on the pads, hitting the. So until you do that and you blow through all those different arenas and areas and experiences, you don't realize how far you can go when you focus on the thing that you want to do and you love. All last year, I complained to you guys. Nothing grew in my tent. Every seed that was given to me died. Nothing made it. Robert Hawley brought me all these plants, and we took them from outdoor to indoor, but everything literally in all the yards around here and a whole bunch of places all over had spider mites last year. So there's spider mites everywhere. So I had to like murder my tent, take everything down. We got nothing out of anything. But on top of that, nothing I grew personally worked. I did the same thing that I always did. It always worked. Never failed me. Nothing worked. Paula was amazed. Even the other fucking foods were nothing worked. I was like, are they spraying us? Are they doing this? Is it the energy? Is it the? And now everything's working. Everything's working. I haven't changed anything but a few little minor details. And it's working. And we're back in it. I haven't stopped. I wanted to give up. God, you asked Matt McDonald. I told him a million times how I want to fucking just burn the tent down and throw it out. I was like, how you're just supposed to be able to plant a seed you take a seed, maybe put a little moisture on it, put it in the soil. It should fucking grow 8 out of 10 times, right? Not in my house. Fucking things wouldn't work. I planted like 40 of them. Nothing. They'd get this big and die. And I'm like, is it the water? I tested the water. It's not the water. Everything's exactly the fucking same, exactly. And now everything's growing. Everything. I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be an amazing year. You don't give up. You push on. I didn't know about trellis netting and all this shit. Now I have it up. I didn't know about beekeeping. I still don't really know from experience, but I'm like really interested. I didn't know how to play piano. I've been playing on that little keyboard thing just so maybe one day I could sample myself into a song. Or, I could play something and Kev could put it in the track. Just creating. And I'll just keep going. Oh, I suck today. I can't get it right. I don't like it. Okay, stop complaining. Do more, though. Try more. Try it this way. Go left, go right, go up, go down. Boom, you break through. Sometimes you break through and you just had it. I've just had it. You're in the bathroom taking a shit or something. And you go, I think I figured it out. And you come running out of the bathroom. You're like, oh, check it out. This, and this. Wow. All that time to get that. When my verse was done, when my music verse was done, I'm like, really? All that for that? And then even Kev said it, it's much better. I'm like, it was just technically a few changes, but they were so needed to be done. Like, oh, my point to all this is you can do it. Put the fucking pedal to the metal and go for what you want. If you sew and you're having a problem with a certain thing, keep pushing for it. You cooking pizza or you're making pasta, you're having a problem, you can't get your timing right, work at it. You'll get it. I didn't think I would ever be able to make a hamburger and not cut it open to check and see if it's ready. And now I know in 4 minutes on either side what you're getting. And I know how to deduct like a few seconds for medium well. Like I never thought I would know any of that. And I completely know it, and I could do it by my sense, by just standing by the stove now, which is weird. I got to kind of be on it. Unless I set a timer, then I don't have to do that. And now I can do it almost every time, and my burgers are getting better and better and better. It's the only way to do it, right? Care about what you're doing. Say to yourself, let's do this, and then do it. And that's where I'm going to leave you tonight. Just do it. I love you guys so much. I'm ready to make fire water. I am ready. I got to go in the other room. And I have to strain the ayahuasca, the acacia. First round, too. And I'll drop that right over into a pot and then take that ball of acacia and throw it right back into the machine. Fill it with water, a little bit of vitamin C, like 2 tablespoons vitamin C, liquid. And it's just fresh water in the acacia. And then put that shit on for 4 hours at like 190, just for people that are curious. And then zip that up, right? And that's only part 1. You get part 2 next week. Or if you're in the the Fearless Family Room. By the way, okay, I should have did this at the beginning of the hour. We got a lot of new people in Fearless Family. I'm really grateful and appreciative that that you came over and checked out what's going on. I know some of these people have been listeners for a while, and then now they're getting involved. I'm just glad you're there. I'm really happy to see you. Welcome to the Starship Fearless, and we're gonna make cool things happen. We're starting from scratch in the group. So if you're you're welcome to come in and start joining us. Just answer the question, and I'll let you in. You got to answer the question though. It's the only rule I have because the group loves it. We love it. If you can't answer the question, why have you come to this Fearless group? You should maybe be there. But we're going to do some cool stuff by doing little short video clips, as Kevin would say, like Gnosis nuggets, except they're a little bit longer than 1 minute, where we retrain from the very beginning and just each video kind of in an order of what's something when you're like, well, what can I do? What can I learn today? Or what have we already gone over 1,000 times and now I forgot and have to be reminded, like breathings and meditations and what certain words mean, and on and on and on. So we do little clips of it, so you can just play it and go in 5 minutes, get the concept completely, and go, okay, I could start here. Obviously, this is perfect. Sometimes less is more. You don't need 500 crystals. You need one good crystal, right? Like, you collect more, yeah, but you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go psycho, right? You need some sage. You don't need all the sage, right? You try two kind. You don't need all the oils. You get what works when you smell it. You don't need all the bells and whistles. You just need the ones that work with what you're working with. Because you could have all of that stuff and none of it work for you. And you'll still be listening to these shows trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. You'll be like, I got everything, but I see nothing. It's like maybe you have too much stuff. Maybe you did too many things that you didn't have to do. You should just be listening, which is what they tell me all the time. Because obviously I talk. Lexi, I'm torn between some stuff. I mean, I'll put it out there right now. Hi, Oracle Eyes, I love you. I'm wondering if I should turn the group. All right, I don't know how this is going to sound wrong, but or somehow start my own station. I don't quite know if I'm ready for this, and I don't know if the people that I would reach out to want to work with on that level would even want to do this or be available to do it. I had made some mentions to Kev. I was like, this is what I didn't get to talk to you guys about. So when I was bitching a couple weeks ago, all I was really trying to say, I'm going to condense this in 2 seconds, is that when you're building a community, you have to, one, give to the community, I guess, your focus at times, your attention at certain things. If you're going to do certain things within the community, right, you got to bring yourself to do it, to be part of it or something. Well, when other people bring it in, when we're not, like I'm the shaman and I do music, obviously Kevin does music, right? So we got a shaman in the group, we got a music group in the group, we got a guy that can make music. Well, Zervos, on top of many wonderful things, is an artist, right? He can do all kinds of cool shit, all kinds, right? So you got an artist. Obviously there's more than one artist in the group, but we have artists in the group. Okay, we have steel workers in the group. We have wrestlers in the group. We have talent everywhere. We have Reiki healers and card readers and this. Why is nobody promoting their community within house? In-house, at least. That's all I was getting at, right? So you want a community, but you don't want to be part of the community. You just want to be semi-part of the community. So you see what everyone's doing, and then you could just be in the background and not do whatever and the blah, 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 blah. And it all goes down to, look, if my friend opened a bakery and it was right, if It's right here. Right. It's competing with all the other bakeries because all these Italians here at their fucking bakeries, right? So I'm gonna go to his and show my support. That's all I was getting at. It wasn't about me. I was trying to say I can take myself to Patreon, whether you come or not. I can build a community, but I'd rather not charge people money to do that because I know there's a lot of broke motherfuckers like me, right? Like I'm not me. I live in a little bedroom apartment, but I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. However, if I went into that direction, not trying to sell you or change anything like that, but give you more, but be like, okay, now I'm going to give you more of me than I've ever given, but I'm going to charge you for that. So that would be taking away from YouTube and going to Patreon, and then you would see clips of me here, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, this way, and they'd all be monetized. So I wouldn't say any of the wrong things during those times. And then I'll take all the crazy shit and just put it over there, but I'll give you way more of it too. And then it's not like a waste of my time, effort, and energy. And then I don't have to worry about the community. I build my community instead of my family. See how that works? It's like this whole defining thing, but there's an in between and a balance to that as well. What if we started a station of some kind? And it could be rotating stuff as well, but whatever. And I was thinking about this long and hard, and I'm like, well, once again, we have people that can do a lot of different things. What would happen if you had a video of that, whatever that is, across weekly schedules or a monthly schedule? This is what you get monthly. You get 2 shows from Frank no matter what. So there'll be no missing the weekend here and doing that because it would be on another platform. You'd have Kevin spinning music. Then you'd have me and Kevin doing something together. Maybe we would have guests because we never do guests really. I try to do internal guests, and then people kind of out on that, right? Like no one else popped up into the mix and said, "Yeah, let's talk." I'd love to do live with you and just do a fearless conversation. But then we could do like Zoom calls where you have 60 people on the fucking call at once. You know what? I don't know how many this does. I think I could do 10 or 15, or I could just ping people in like little waves and have conversations with them. Like, do you want to talk to me non-therapeutic? I don't want to hear the bullshit. I want to be part of the bullshit. Like, I want to be part of the real shit. So if you're willing to go have those conversations with me, maybe you want to do that live, but that's going to go on over here. Then Robert, I'm just using examples, does meditations. Maybe he wants to throw his meditations on there. You know, maybe Shaman Tiffany twice a week shows up for 15 minutes and blasts you with hand magic, you know, Reiki energy or something. On and on. So then there's like stuff all week long, and we become our own thing. But it's video, obviously. I don't know. People like to say yeah, and then they cop out on it. So it's a great idea, but naturally that can't be free. But if it was like $5 a month, but you were getting 20 different things on there, would it be worth it? I don't know. Maybe. I see what these other people offer, and I'm shocked. I'm like, wow, that's really expensive. That's more than I paid for Disney Plus for the year, for 3 years, 2 years ago. So I'm not renewing, so don't worry. I just love superheroes, so I'm just having a hard time when Disney bought Marvel. But it's more than a subscription service at Netflix, so I don't think that's going to happen for one thing, for one person. Right? Like people will go, well, $20 a month will get you this, $50 a month will get you this. I'm like, what the fuck? You get conversations one-on-one. I would never do anything like that. I feel terrible. But if you were putting out content, having guests, I mean, I don't like to talk to people sometimes. So like, I don't want to talk to the UFO guy. I'm over him, whoever that is. Like random metaphoric character shows up. I don't give a shit. I've been in them. I know they're real. I don't need him to come and tell me about something like the Benny and Barney Hill from 1967. Like I read that when I was a child. I'm over it. I already had those experiences. So to me, that's a waste for like Fearless to go that direction. You know, that's something like, you know, all the other like radio stations need to do and podcasts where they do interviews. I'm like the interview and the interviewee. Unless someone steps up and they're having an experience and they want to talk and we're people and you're cool and you just want to chat. Like I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying from my perspective, it's about my story. So I'm not really, it's like when you show up in my world, my life, if we work a little bit together, of course you get to come out and present yourself. You're that part, but I don't go out of my way to get the interview. I also don't really get interviewed anymore because I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the attitude of mine or the cursing, or I don't really curse too much on other people's shows, or how many times you could say the same shit. Right? Like how many times you want to have me on the same show. Like I worked with Joe Roop a bunch of times. That guy's great. Fucking love that guy. I haven't done his show in like a year, but I did it like 3 or 4 times. Like you got the whole story. I did 3 hours at a clip. There's nothing new really, is there? We tell all that here on Fearless, but to go out there and shuffle it around, do I go to Gaia? Do I clean up my act and teach people meditation and how to breathe and talk about my experiences on that next level shit? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I might start asking you through some polls to vote on some things just so I can get a grip of what you think out there, because it's hard for me to. I'll run with an idea. I just don't. I don't know if I want to do that stuff. I don't know. I do want to grow, just like the plant in my tent. Maybe I should go on hotboxing with Mike Tyson, huh? Do something like that. That I would do. Do interviews with the guys from Cypress Hill so we could all smoke and then hit that community. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Sorry about the end of this, just rambling off with this, but it's really important to talk about it. I mean, we could do all that in the Fearless group as well, you know. But I think people want to go where they're appreciated. I'm not knocking anyone at all. I mean, they want to grow. So if the atmosphere has growth potential, then it's worth doing in that area. But if it's not, why bother? Does that make sense? Maybe doing it someplace over here works better. I don't know. I don't know. And that's what that thing was a few weeks ago. It was about that community and not liking the stuff. It's like, yo, if people just liked and shared everybody else's stuff, like everything I watch, I'm just like that though. Like I watch a lot of comic book stuff, and without it, I feel like I watch way more comic book shit by a lot than I do spiritual stuff. Like you would look at my YouTube history and be like, how old is Frank? Be like, 47. He really likes the Avengers and X-Men, doesn't he? And Batman and all this crazy shit. And it's just, and Bitcoin mining, like just learning stuff. Vocal lessons constantly. I constantly do vocal lessons. I watch that old couple. I'll find out who they are, and I'm going to share the link in the Fearless group. But like that, if like you had a skill of some kind, like one of the guys sent me an email on Messenger. He has like a lot of information on lock from a more scientific mathematic approach. It's literally what we talk about. So he's obviously one of the listeners. He's in the Fearless. Maybe he's not in the group, but he listens to the show. He sent me all this info that I couldn't even respond to him outside of thank you and hearts and everything. Let me check this part, that part. He had so much. He should just be doing a show and teaching that. Does he do it in the room or do we take it on the road? People's skills, do if they step forward and want to show that shit, if they want to talk, if they want to grow, but you want to do it together as a community, these are the things you do. You like lift each other, right? Like if you like something, you're like, yo, I like this. Check this out, or you get in on that. You okay? So charging you or like, subscribe, share. That's where the path goes when you're like one of these guys. I'm just telling you, it's like one thing alleviates the other thing. You keep us relevant and in the cycle, or it's not worth doing it here. I could just do it in the Fearless group, right? Like we could just take it in there quietly, or I could just go to Patreon and take whoever wants to go there. It's just things to consider. I'm not threatening anybody with anything. I love all you guys. I want to just be here and talk, you know? Right? I am speaking to a couple of new audience members, I think, and they do want to know. That's why in the group I was going, we'll go back to today. We learned grounding, how to breathe, and then mindset, like focus on one thing and listen and try to be aware of what occurs. You don't have to go in with a question or nothing. Just ground to the high frequency. We were calling it the 5D frequency. And then as you're breathing, you're releasing all the things you don't need so you could remain in the frequency. And then the frequency's pumping into you the energy. And then the energy that you go into in the higher frequency can't do anything to you but work with you because you're grounded and you're breathing. And that's like revving the engine and starting the machine. And now you're just focused on, it's up to you, whatever that focus is. Like I was using the comb as the example. Like you just stay focused and don't let nothing else but your focus. Oh, it's the comb. Why the fucking comb? I don't know. I use it every day. Helps keep me fresh. Oh, that feels good. I could like scratch that itch, but make me look fly. Look, I could store it like that. I could scratch another part of my body. I could put it in my back pocket. I could put it in my front pocket. I could put it behind my ear. I could throw it at you if you're acting stupid. Like just there's so many things I could do with it, right? So you're just focused on that. So it's like spinning and going like this. Now, while you're in the middle of doing that, you're going to notice things. One, you might not even be able to focus, but because it's a starting place. But if you can, and then you start hearing, hey, go fuck yourself. Like, you know, like you'll never find focus and balance. Yeah, but it sounds like you, but your eyes are closed and you're hearing those thoughts that you're not supposed to. You're like, I don't want those thoughts. While you're busy focused, you'll notice when those thoughts that aren't yours come in. That's the awareness I talk about. But you have to be able to bring it all in and just kind of start working like it's a muscle. Pump the muscle in your third eye. And then I was like saying, like, so if it's a sound and it's just resonating through feeling and sound, you could close your eyes and you're like, I don't even know what that is, but I think it's coming from this way. And then you like follow it through back to the source, right? Your awareness and your discernment will lead you on a journey, on a path of all different kinds of things. I said, then next time we learn how to shield and protect, do protection. because that's its own little thing. So we do like these little clips of different things that can help us. We'll do like seed mantras and different mantras. I don't do the big mantras because I can't pronounce any of that stuff. But I could do the clean and cling and cream and have little explanations, right? How certain things meditate, with different styles of meditation, how to eat the light, right? How to heal, what to say to yourself, the things you could say to yourself to bring this during certain situations, right? What times to be in the sun and practice, all these different little weird things. And you implement one or two and your world changes. But you got to go into a routine and you got to mean it. And that's the work I always talk about. Yeah, it's time. Can't wait no more. So we go back to the beginning, we restart. It's not really a big deal. Except in the story now, there's no real reptilians and shit. Like it's like those bases and those bunkers, they're getting busted. Um, they're getting out of here. So all that's gone. So to teach that part is irrelevant, but you still go back to the beginning because this is what Shaman Jimmy used to say. We gave him enough to ascend 10 times over. It's really not that hard. You got to love yourself more, do a little more. I go, right, right, right. So at our level, we get there. Master Yoda, what do? Just love yourself more. I do love myself more. Well, obviously, sitting here arguing with Master Yoda about it means you still need work. Right? Fuck. Right? So just, you strive to be what you want to be. And love it. Love yourself. Say, I love you. Say it. I love you. Look in the mirror. Be like, I love you. Tell yourself. You can heal. You're allowed to fucking heal. You're allowed to fucking hurt sometimes. It's okay. I still got you. You're still good. You ever look in the mirror and it's like your higher self is talking through, like I told you so, right? Like you can connect in these fucking crazy ways. Earlier tonight, I don't really channel. I listen to them and hear them. I guess they're in the room with me. I'm listening, getting the download, whatever you want to say, but I don't let them talk for me unless it's my higher self. Then I just let him go. I let him right in. Boom, 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 boom. Let him go. But I try to keep up with them. But some of you could be great channelers. Right? We could have channelers in the mix, and you're not doing it because you're not practicing it, because you got to have discernment during it. So you got to even know what you're channeling. Because that's a challenge within itself. And then you master the challenge by gaining awareness. You want to start communities, right? And you're like, I wonder how you would start the community, but you're in a community, but you don't promote the community. And what I mean by that is like if you have a wood maker, you make that guy make wooden everything. What you know what I mean? You need you need a chef for an occasion. You go to the chef, right? If he's available, she's available, whatever. You need an actor, and we got an actor in the mist. Go on forward. We're doing Star Wars. Like you go to the internal. People have said to me, I want to build a community with you. And I'm like, okay, well, that starts by getting to know me. I haven't heard back from a lot of you. That's all I'm saying. So you got to grow into that. We have to build off each other, like teach each other how to do stuff. We're all one, so you're going to connect on the higher level. So why are you less connecting now? But you want it. So you want yippee-ki-yay, but no motherfucker. I get it. You want peanut butter, no jelly. You want peanut butter and jelly with the crust cut off. But it's got to be white bread? I don't understand what's happening here. You got to build it if you want it. You want to grow. You want to bring it together. You got to do it. Right? It's a big thing. People feel safe in their community. I've had people reject themselves from our group and then blame us for rejecting them because their thing was, I want to feel safe. And then I see what happens and I'm like, well, obviously there was some stupid shit being said, but I get it. You had like 10 people just fucking snap at you like, you're not cool. Fuck off for doing that. It's like, there's got to be an understanding, guys. There's got to be a happy balance. You gotta find it. Everyone's just not crazy, right? You can't just dismiss it all the way down the line and then go, well, I guess it never occurred. Did you build it? Did you try to build it? How many of you are afraid to take the next step? How many? So many. There's something you're afraid to do and take that step because you're scared. But what are you scared of? You're just used to the prison you put yourself in, or we put ourselves in. So you opt not to do that. Well, I say take the chance every now and then. You're worth it. Lexi, you're a warrior. One of my favorites. And Kevin, we're making it happen. Oh, I got this thing written up. I wanted to show you. So it's live in front of everyone. I wrote the I wrote the letter to Spotify, and it could be interchanged with anything. So we could just remove Spotify and put whatever. I just have to type it. I love you guys so much. So a little bit at a time, right direction. One foot in front of the other. I love you too, Lex. One foot in front of the other. And then your 1,000-mile, trip of 1,000 steps begins with that first step. Just do it. Some of those steps will be rocky and bumpy. Sometimes the road will be flat, and sometimes it'll be slippery, right? So you just keep walking to your destination. You're going to get there. Love you guys so much. Stay fearless. Remember, the universe rewards bravery. Have a great, great late evening. And if you have any questions, comments, I'll be around this week. Let me know. I love you. Talk to you soon. Peace.